All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rumble? It's the best of 3 here for EU to determine who is going to become the champion once again here for the night shift number 25. Alongside me, we have Jason, we have Jake, my name's Jay, it's all the Jays. We're ready to go. Look at Jason, he's so locked in right now. That's crazy. Whoa.
My eyes are watering. This is really hard to do, to stare at a camera with your eyes wide open.
I don't know why you're doing it. What are you doing?
For the donations.
I'm feeling something. I'm starting. Hold. Oh my god.
Chat, avert your eyes.
Look away. Help.
Oh God.
That was an amazing zoom in. Wow, well
That
done,
was impressive.
I never want to see my face that big again in my life. Oh.
Jake, can you follow that up?
I got nothing. Let's talk about some Deadlock patch notes, man.
Can you zoom in on Jake's hair?
Let's bring it back to my wheelhouse.
It's so springy. You know?
Dude, the humidity's up in LA, dude, and I can't control it. I'm like, it's out of control.
It's not real. It's not real hair.
It's a toupee.
It's a wig.
It's a toupee. I've been rocking it since day one.
Chat, do you think that's real hair? Let's have a vote in the chat. Anyway, no, Jake, talk to us about the patch notes.
Let's see if we can pull them up. We could show some of the patch notes. This came after our most recent shift. So we can see some of these changes. So some of that bebop, like ridiculous brawling late game has been toned down a little bit, especially the spirit scaling on some of the bomb builds, a little bit less crazy. So Graves actually got some really interesting changes. I still don't think she's going to be relevant in competitive play because coordinated play, it's just too easy to deal with the tombstone if you're really aware of it, especially with some of these nerfs. Like in terms of, especially the slow when you take bullet damage, things like that on the ghouls is a little bit less potent. But Silver, of course, got kind of a beat down with the nerf stick. And I will say, I think this is warranted, especially because she still went first pick. I mean, she lost, but she didn't look terrible in that last game. And I mean, this hero was hyper broken, it's fair to say, on release. So I don't even want to look at all these things, man. There's like a million nerfs in one. Still, I think the character is going to get picked and is going to be a relevant part of the game with how strong that ultimate heal is and the ability to kind of reset and fight through difficult engagements, but maybe not in the, like S tier unstoppable hero category. Could maybe be a little bit more even with some of our other top frontliners.
Sure. I'm of the opinion. I think we'll see Abrahams maybe contest for it higher in the draft again because they're not going up against Loki W, who was contesting for it. When of course we saw Listic playing against them last week, so they were actually going for it first pick. But Jason, I do want to ask you about the Graves nerfs, obviously because we've not really seen it. I do feel like it was maybe a bit knee jerk and people just weren't hitting the deadheads because they didn't realize they could even hit them in game. What do you think about these patch notes?
Well, I did just learn yesterday that you can melee the deadheads to kill them. So I might
That's
not be
good to know. Don't tell anybody, Jason. I've been spamming Graves. You need to stop with that.
No, I think I don't know. I can't tell if I think Graves is good or I just want her to be good. I think that's the problem I'm having right now because we talked to, was it Hoot last week? No. We talked to Cool Cheese. I can't remember who it was. It was such a long show. We talked to some players and they said that there is a world where we could see Graves be strong, but the build hasn't been figured out yet, and the playstyle around it hasn't been figured out yet. But I think Jake kind of hits the nail on the head that it does take coordinated play to play around her Graves, and a coordinated team will stop those Graves from really being effective. Yeah. I don't know what kind of changes need to happen to her to see her played in pro play. I would actually be really curious to see what they would even think about changing with her within her kit. But I deep down hope it's just that build hasn't been unlocked yet.
I do personally. I'm like so invested because I love like characters with map pressure tools in MOBAs. I think they're super fun.
I thought it was the auto aiming part of it that you love. That's
I do love that too, baby. I love that too. I'm getting older. I need that auto aim on the kit. Keep me. It's just about distance, positioning. But so I love Graves. I think there's some definitely underutilized tech on her. Like you can build the tomb on those like lightning roofs that you're not supposed to stand on. You can build it up there, and the zombies push the waves as normal. So there's some pretty cool tech. I just think after the range nerf on her gun, I think that really hurt her. Like having to be a couple meters closer is a big deal when you have an auto aim gun that you could like potentially pull all people's damage away. Just having to be a little bit more in a dangerous position to actually get that value off feels unrealistic right now, especially with the limited macro play. But I'm still a believer that like someone's gonna figure this out. That this maybe it'll take like a buff or something like that to kind of bring her back in line. But she could be one of those heroes that's a little too dominant in pubs and a little bit too weak in competitive play and kind of be in that uncomfortable position balance wise.
Oh, fair. Of course, we have some more tips and subscriptions coming in. I'm going to read out VA_U because the other one's kind of about me. I'm going to read out as if he or she was probably saying it. So I'm going to goober more like poobler. There you go. That's probably how they sounded in real life. How about the other one, Jason?
Oh, I have to read your praise again. Wow, leave it all.
I mean, that's your role. You self-assigned on that one, Jason. You can't be talking crap about it now.
14 years of this, and I'm tired of this. From Cold Hot Cocoa, so stoked. Clarus, don't look at the camera. I don't want to see your face. So stoked to see.
Turn around.
He's blushing. So stoked to see Clarus on the desk. Love what you brought to StarCraft 2, and so happy to see you in Deadlock.
No, I'm not blushing. I'm just ginger. I'm always red, Jason. You know this. For
the
real?
sun reflected off of a window outside and touched his skin for 1 second. Now he's burned.
Jason saw me use an umbrella in Singapore when it was like 40 degrees. I was like, it was a long time ago, but
that's why you live in Poland, because it's so gray there. It's perfect.
I shovel snow every day. Are we going to talk about the game? Let's talk about the rosters.
Yeah,
how about that?
If you insist.
Okay.
I mean, this team.
Abrahams.
Anyone who's been watching the Night Shift knows this team, right? They have been on an absurd run of dominance. It's been months since we've had another champion. It's starting to feel like they're playing with the house cash, like they can't lose. I mean, I think all these players, I think Dimov and Together are some of your best frontliners in the world. I think Dimov arguably is like the best player in the world right now. He's probably had the longest run of dominance of anybody currently playing Deadlock. I think Hood is an incredibly exciting player to watch who plays a huge variety of characters and just feels like he's somehow insane at every single one. I mean, it's sort of crazy. You put him on these very unique, high skill individual characters, and he's always having big games. I think Taz, fair to say, best initiator in the game. Saint, one of the best supports, and Sonya, very, very solid carry. So this team just, it's an embarrassment of riches. They've got nothing to stop them. And I hid in the bushes, throwing $200 cash at the prize pool. Huge shout out to the community. You guys have been going crazy with these donos, buffing up our prize pool to a really deserving level for these players who grind week in, week out to deliver great games.
Absolutely. Hiding in the bushes. Amazing stuff from them.
Did it last
Talking
week
about
too.
it. Huh?
Did it last week too. Big donation from Behind the Bushes last week. But I would like to talk about this team too, if I have a second.
Please.
I think, and I'm almost safe to say it. Okay, I can guarantee say when it comes to EU. But Saint, I think, is the best support in EU, hands down. And I think he's almost the best support in NA as well. I think only Saya can maybe be another name to throw into the mix there when it comes to supports. But Saint, it's not often we give MVPs to a support player, but he's done it multiple times within this team. He's shown he can play multiple different heroes as well and have an insane level of impact. I think he's definitely the glue that holds his team together. And this is a team that don't even necessarily need the glue to do so because they're so strong individually.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if you look at last week, right, when like even on the Kelvin and being able to put 41k healing during those games and being able to put on the pressure that they were able to do whilst that was going on, I think it's just a really kind of testament to how individually strong this team is. And let's be real, Jake. Right now in Europe, they are the final boss. Individually, as all six, anybody can find something great from any single individual piece of this. And I'm going to use a kid's term, and vibe with that kind of player, right? And how they're
that is so authentic and youthful of you, Kalaris. That is just
37.
This team is cooked.
No,
that's my attempt. And Kalaris is the unk here on the desk.
Oh, stop, please.
That Heathen J with a $50 donation again, straight to the prize. Thank you so much for all your support. I know all the players appreciate it. I know we appreciate it as well, even though we don't touch the money. But we love to see the support that you have for the show, and more importantly for the players. But we're getting to the draft here, Kalaris. Celeste, top 2 bans. It's happening. I'm sorry.
Almost certainly, right? And again, as I mentioned before, I do expect maybe Abram. Well, technically, I don't think Leviathan. I'm saying it in the Polish way because the shop here calls Leviathan. God damn it. Leviathan. That one as well. I don't think that they're going to challenge for silver as much as maybe, Abrams would. So maybe they leave it later into the draft. But Jake, take it away.
I was hoping Leviathan wouldn't ban Celeste since they have first pick, because I would have. I feel like of all the teams in the night shift tonight, Abrahams is probably the most likely to let it through. Just like on the basis of being incredibly confident and thinking, hey, let's have some fun. Let's let Celeste through. Let's see what happens. But Leviathan banned it out again. So they may just not have a Celeste player. I mean, they may just be like, look, this hero's too broken. We don't want to deal with it. We're perma first banning it. Even with first pick, I think it's strategically a bit of a mistake. I think it's so good that it should get through, or rather, it should always be the team with second pick who has to ban it. but they go with Celeste Band and they take Silver for themselves this time. So a lot of faith in Silver. I mean, even after all those nerfs, it hasn't really changed anything other than maybe getting her through the first ban phase.
So you need a monster hunter, huh?
Great. So now together or Demoth gets Shiv. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a Billy come through as well as like a second pick for their team. Like again, you steal away the strong front line, do exactly what Leviathan did against Low Key W to them, and you already put them in a really bad spot.
What are we standing around for?
There it is. Yeah, I'm scared of that already. Leviathan's going to have something special to follow up here. Obviously, they had the Page was the follow-up, right? I think for the previous game.
I think so far this is like a role reversal from the last game, right? Like Leviathan did exactly what Abraham's did in their position in the draft in terms of taking that Shiv Billy first. And this time they're going to take the Venator. So still believe. I mean, I thought this hero was pretty good. We heard from some of the pros, maybe they didn't think it was so strong, but I think this character is pretty top tier. The ultimate, it is a ridiculous burst. When you max that ultimate, it's like 3 almost half HP hero hits, which is just absolutely crazy. You think Warden's coming next?
I thought they might go for Warden to steal away from Sonya's pool a bit.
Was Yamato untouched last game? Like literally uncontested, no ban, no pick. So I was surprised by that. I think Yamato is a top tier character right now, a really solid frontliner. Leviathan agree, especially given that you're running out of frontliners, right? Like 3 of the best were picked or banned already. You kind of wanted to secure that Yam for yourself to mitigate what we saw last game, where Silver alone in the front line just wasn't quite enough, right? Needs a little bit more bruising power behind her.
Page ban?
And that makes a lot of sense.
If you're going to ban Page, you want to do it on the bot. Actually, no, because you have Rem, so
yeah,
it wouldn't be.
Yeah, you're not going to pick it as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, banning Pocket to protect Shiv has just been like a time-honored classic, though, in Deadlock. I honestly don't love it. I think it's not as necessary as it might seem, because in the end, Pocket is very vulnerable to spirit damage. Shiv dash kind of crushes him if you ever do connect it. And at some point, you're just going to build Divine Barrier on Rem to be able to take the affliction off of Shiv anyway. So maybe, you know, it does always introduce a comeback potential. You know, the 6-man affliction, it's just almost no matter how bad the soul deficit is, like you can win that team fight. So maybe it makes sense to just take away that X factor from Abraham's perspective.
I will say Jason.
Jason. I like that.
Sorry, yeah, no, I like that.
Wait, that's our new couple name.
Jason. Wait, whoa. Hey, boy.
It's like our celebrity ship name, you know? Like.
But I'm excited to see the Rem. I mean, we didn't get to see it last week when it came to Europe. So let's see how Abrams is able to fare with that. Yeah, I know you don't like the Rem. I get it. But
no, it's not the Rem I want to talk about. It's the Grey Talon ban because of Hoot performance last week on
That's respect. That's respect.
On Grey Talon. He got like plus 50 on his bird in the first 10 minutes. It was nutty.
He dropped an 80k damage player game. That might be like one of the highest we ever see on the night shift, unless a game goes to 60 minutes or something crazy. I mean, that was probably of damage per minute has to be one of the best of all time. And GT is really the character to do it on. Yeah. I will say though, I think banning heroes that Who plays is a lost cause. Like you cannot affect this guy's performance in the game with hero bans. He's got like 10 heroes that he's elite at. They grab the Lash. Sure, I feel like Abraham's almost rather have the Lash, right? Like they really love this hero. And Hoot, he's not just an ult bot, right? Like he brings monster. He's had top damage games on Lash. Well, he's also having a crucial team fight ult. I mean, this guy, I feel like Lash is a hero I'm more scared of because it gives him presence at every level of the game. And they go with the Mirage carry to finish. NA, I think, has been a little bit more willing to play Mirage, but I think Mirage is probably the best late game carry, like the best true ultra late carry, because you just debuff the hell out of everybody, and it's like they just can't play if Mirage is turreting them. They have to kill Mirage every fight, and I think there's no other carry that provides that level of ultra late pressure. So it's a little bit, I mean, Abrams typically goes for a faster tempo style, so I'm a little surprised to see the Mirage pick. I think that's a bit of respect for Leviathan, saying maybe we're not just gonna run them over.
Jason?
We had a couple donations I just wanted to point out really quick before they got lost in the sauce, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the Postnap came back in with another $5 donation. He says, I will not stand for Goober slander. Goober will always stand as my goat. Then Breaded Bread Roll came in with a $15 donation, said Silver Wagga. Okay. Respect.
Okay.
Sorry, so go back into the game here. The Rem, I find it interesting. I find Rem really cool, actually. I think the more I think about it, because we saw a difference in the way EU and NA played Rem. Saint likes to build for the followers. So you can get 4 followers, the little helpers, right? Like pretty much really quickly. Use it to control sinners, use it to push lanes, use it to throw on your teammates so you can give them the extra spirit resist. But also, I've been seeing an Echo Shard Rem. And you Echo Shard your 2.
Your tag along. So you more or less have infinite tag along in a team fight, like from bouncing to everybody.
Well, it's not even that. So that's what I initially thought. But I was talking to Trax, I think, about it. And the burst healing you do with Rem, it's only on the first target you use it on, because you do like 13% or a little bit higher than that when you attach someone. So if you're like with just one other player, you can heal them like 26% of their missing health plus the regen. So it's insane for team fights, because you're basically invulnerable the entire fight until you get hit with an ultimate. But you can also do so much burst healing that no one else in the game can really do, because even Kelvin can't match the amount of healing Rem can do if you go towards that Echo Shard as a build for him.
I think the macro pressure this hero provides, it's like one of those things that's probably really hard to catch on the cast, because it's sort of happening in the background, in the shadows. It's like the nature of Rem as a character. But when you steal enemy centers and you're not even risking your hero to do it, you're just kind of like, if there's ever a moment when the enemy just isn't quite ready to defend their jungle from you, you're getting an absurd payout. It's spreading across your whole team, and it's denying one of the key farm resources from the opponent. So creates a huge amount of macro pressure. I think like Rem is a character that I think is going to take a long time, frankly, for players to master. But you look at players like Saint and Saya, like these are the players I'm expecting to maybe be kind of paving the way for like how Rem is meant to be played. Like if I was a Rem player right now, I'd be pulling these match replays, watching how they approach the game, because there's a lot of deep decision making on this character, right? You need to buff that wave minutes before, you're going to be pressuring the other side of the map. You buff this wave here, you go make a move somewhere else where now the map pressure is forcing the enemy to react. You're stealing centers at the same time. There's so much to be seen in like an individual Rem gameplay. I think it's going to be a real masterful hero to watch. It's also a hero that dies super easily, though. You make a mistake, you get caught, of course, you just die instantly, right? The only thing you have to survive is your 2, but I expect to see the other team also be very aware of Rems and really try to kill them off early in the team fight to prevent that level of support.
It's one of my favorite heroes added recently, because it's your big focus on macro, right? Like you're thinking about the bigger picture in a game and stuff like that.
Like
and I'm also quite
order.
Stop that. Yeah, by the way, tip $25 and say StarCraft 2. But the thing is that also I'm glad that they shunted him a little bit towards a little bit more of a healing style with some of the patch fixes that they did have to him, because initially that healing really didn't feel that effective. But now with Healing Booster and Healing Nova alongside that tag along as well, and the Echo Shard as you're mentioning here, with the potential for that, I love playing Echo Shard Rem personally. It's one of my favorite things to be able to just jump everywhere, and you're never in danger as long as your team is kind of giving you the opportunity to jump from hero to hero or a minion.
He's, I think, the most unique. I want to say almost the most unique hero in the game.
I think so.
Not necessarily based off mechanics, but I'm thinking towards like build order, because what you're building, because you want to get 4 actives that you can use, and the 4 actives you choose depends on your team, depends on their team, depends on the state of the game, and depends on what you're trying to do in this match at that point of time. I think it's so cool that you have to really use your brain to think about what build path you want to go towards to hit certain spikes at certain moments to really punish the team.
I think that's sort of true, Jason. It's also like Divine Barrier, Curse, Healing Nova, like almost every game. I mean, I guess it's the order. The order you go is super interesting. I think like all the benefits it gives to those actives, right? It's pretty crazy when you combo with someone like Shiv and Billy, right? Like the limit there, I don't think we've seen, right? What's possible when you really understand how much a Rem is providing to the team. And I think this could be a game to showcase it here. Abraham's, they kind of have a very nasty draft here. A lot of sick like counter initiation team fight with the Rem sleep, the Lash ulti, and Mirage is just going to be setting up turreting, forcing you to kind of respond and do something. And I don't know what the answer is going to be if this Mirage gets online in the late game.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Jason? Does he tag along with Mirage's teleport?
Oh no, that's not what I was thinking.
That's a good question.
So
I bet he does.
But it's similar. My idea was similar. If you hop into player A, who's like over here, and I gotta make sure I'm on camera, and like player F is like way over there, you rescue beam them from player A, from F to A, and then you tag along to another person. Do you drag that person all the way with you back to player C?
I think so, because I think the rescue beam originates from your hero, and rescue beam does some crazy stuff with movement skills, right? Like it enables you to pull people across the map and things like that. I honestly think if you're in the animation on Rem, like of the tag along, you might fly across the map to Mirage if he TPs away while you're flying to him. So I don't know if there's any way to stop once you're like on the your little warp speed death ball flying to your allies.
And we talked about Rem being basically like another Page, or I don't think Counter was necessarily used, but kind of being like in a similar boat to Page. But Page is probably the best hero to use against a Rem, because your ult's going to knock him out of whoever's in.
It's probably one of the most reliable AoE ulti stuns that you're going to get. something, right? Maybe the page ult knocks Rem out, and that could be a real vulnerability, right? Like, you know, like the Rem, because if you're ready for that and you're planning on, hey, we're gonna knock this guy out and we're gonna like go finish him, like Rem, no matter what your build is, you're never gonna get tanky. You just don't have the scaling or the tools to survive any kind of initiation. You're not gonna build that way anyway. So that's I think the risk with Rem is it's a very positioning dependent hero. If you ever caught in a bad spot in the team fight, you don't have any way to play around. The way Paige can, like, she has rallying charge to play her way out of things. She can like root people trying to chase her. She can be a little bit, even with 2-stamp, can be an awkward hero to chase down.
She builds a bit more green, right, compared to. I mean, Rem has some green actives that actually do kind of assist a little bit, but nowhere near, as you say, what you're kind of alluding to here. I think that's why I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, is it going to be the page ban? But at the same time, Jason, getting rid of Affliction and getting rid of the nuisance that it can be Pocket for something like that frontline totally makes sense as well.
Still say hashtag love Pocket. I agree with the donation before. The Venator, though, you know, we mentioned it when he got picked, and you said, Jake, that, you know, we talked to some pros and they said he's not in the best state right now. But I'm curious, like, I don't feel like we saw much impact in that last game with Venator. I think it was overshadowed by Empty Dreams on the Warden. I don't know necessarily what it's going to be bringing to this composition, though. Obviously, the knockback can be very big here, especially if you catch out little Rem. That would be hilarious, honestly. But you also do force disengage ability. I don't know. I think Venator I don't know how it's going to play on this comp, because I just didn't really see much out of it last time, even though they won.
I do think the traps are actually kind of an underratedly powerful part of the kit, right? Like, you got characters like Shiv and Billy who are not looking for traps when they're going in, you know, like they're full sending it on you. They're trying to get right on top of you and burst you down. And very, very easy, I think, for those characters to step into a trap. And that honestly is like some of your best impact, I think, on Venator. Aside from obviously the ulti is insane, it's all the disruption. I think we'll probably see Venator not be played as, like, you see some of the clips on social media is like people going ultra hyper carry just to make the ult as much damage as humanly possible. But I think honestly, Venator in competitive play is going to be a little bit more of like a bruiser brawler type. Like, he's got a lot of disruption. He's got some anti-heal. He's pretty survivable. He can kind of like take that fight and you know, brawl out with some of these other frontliners. And he has great follow-up for the kills, but he can both start the fight and potentially finish it, right? He's got good tools to
execute, right?
Get through the engage. Exactly. So you almost have something, I mean, it's not a Shiv, right? But something like a Shiv in terms of your willingness to take the front line and to, you know, take those early trades in the fight, survive through it by building tanky enough, and then also be able to close things out with the air dominance. So, I mean, this is going to be a real bellwether game, though. You're up against the best team in the world. You got Venator and Silver. You got some of like their strongest new heroes. Is that going to be enough to take down Abraham's? Tough question.
What do you think, Jason? Do you think it is enough? I'm questioning.
I think you could pull off a good Venator, just like a ginger Venator. Actually, looking at it.
Oh,
that's
me?
what I'm thinking about. Yeah, you.
Well, he's got the Irish.
You got the
accent.
beard.
I've not got the Irish accent though. You know, I can't.
You got the red in the face already. The gray, not so much.
Are you saying I look like I have a burnt face?
Your words, not mine. But look at this. I think there's a big difference in Abraham's late game win condition with their M1 of Mirage by Sonya and Leviathan's with Warden played by Empty Dreams. Like, Leviathan want to get in your face and they want to fight. They're not really looking to get ultra late game where Mirage can completely carry away from you. What I do want to see, though, is how is Hoot going to play around the counter spells? Because that was one of the pivotal things that I saw in Leviathan to counter out Shark on the Lash in the last game. But he also does have way more setup, I think, with his ultimate than the previous team had with it.
Of course, we have some people asking as well, as we did have an update midway through this draft. So we are just waiting for the game itself to be updated for everybody so we can get into this game as it is coming on and move forward. I do say as well, actually, now that I was thinking about it, a big thank you to everybody for tuning in, and also our co-streamers, because we were able to break a massive viewer count here so far, Jason, which has been fantastic so far, now that we have co-streaming fully activated and good to go here on Twitch, right?
It wasn't the co-streaming, it was just having Claris on the show, I think.
You're just on a roll, Jason. You're on an absolute streak.
He's never been this nice to me, not even at my wedding. Like,
the truth comes out, Jason.
He was nice there, but he's really nice here. It's lovely. I love it. Yeah.
Just for the cameras. Just for the cameras.
I do think counterspell is interesting. You know, another thing I've noticed about this meta is that with the downfall of debuff remover to now dispel magic, which I don't know if I feel like I'm gonna miss calling a debuff remover. It just feels too right.
I agree.
But I think dispel magic is a much worse item than debuff remover with the no native debuff resistance just like statted on the kit. And so much fewer buys on that. Like the Mina is probably still going to buy it. Some of these like ultra mobile characters probably still needed to deal with some of these lockdown tools. But just overall, a lot less of that being, a lot less debuff resistance being bought in the game. So I think some of these lockdown actives are also going to see a rise in terms of their relevance, their ability to actually burst heroes. Like you're not going to see most likely characters even like Shiv and Billy building something like Dispel Magic. And so, hey, I'm wondering if there's not room for something like a Focusing Lens to actually look like a pretty good item, right? In terms of securing you these kills, finding these lockdowns. And you know, somebody like Paige could be a perfect builder for that. Maybe also Rem can do the same though. So it's a two-way street in this draft. I don't think it's going to favor one or the other. I just think it's sort of a shift in the game. It's a little bit more, debuffs are better, I think, than they were before this patch in a pretty significant way.
I think that's why we saw a little bit of a rise of Counterspell. You know, maybe while we do have this time, maybe we can take a look at the item priority from last week, actually, from Night Shift.
Good idea.
For me, Counterspell should have risen up the ranks with the fall off of Debuff Remover, turn into Dispel Magic, because it's one of like the good ways to kind of act in a similar fashion without having to go for a 6.4K investment over to Unstoppable. So I think it's a very good point to bring up, and I'd actually be really curious to see any analysis, maybe at a Blink cast if you stop working on a podcast and chat, of what the differences have been in builds from previous weeks to now, and how more effective now have we seen debuffs be.
Please don't tell me he's still editing. But yeah, I mean,
It probably is. Inhibitor, Toxic Bullets, Ricochet from Mirage. If you get to that point, man, like, your money. And we can see here, top items from last week for Night Shift number 24. Counterspell up 91 places.
That's massive, right? It's kind of has been that replacement to Debuff Remover, and we're not really seeing the Spirit debuff actives rise like that in that same fashion, but I kind of wonder if there's room for that, right? Maybe you're not going to build too many of them, but those slowing hexes lasting just a little bit longer. We really don't see anyone building Silence Wave anymore. I wonder if that item's not due for a buff. But still heavy prio on green. I mean, this is the green patch. Everyone's talking about gun versus spirit, and green is just quietly taking over, man. I guess in fairness, because it's buying both gun and spirit builds, but these are like all top tier green items here.
Yeah.
I mean every character needs them.
Do you remember where Dispel Magic was in Night Shift 23? It was third, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, Debuff Remover was one of the best items in the game, I think, before this change. Like, it was one of the most bought. It's just good on tanks, good on highly mobile cores, good on carries. You were just so much stuff to dispel, and getting the fact that you had a better natural debuff resist on Debuff Remover than you do on Unstoppable was a little bit crazy, honestly. So I think it was fair that the item took a pretty big nerf, but I don't know that the meta has really adapted I mean, the item meta has shifted, as you see, but I don't know that like people's approach to the game, they're thinking about their other options now that Debuff Remover's out. Like, think about characters like Infernus, right? Like, I wonder if Infernus, I mean, Mirage is maybe a more reliable option in that category since he can play from a much longer range to apply his debuffs. But now you're actually feeling like, hey, I could get a full duration burn off and just tick people down with, like, you know, Toxic and Afterburn.
Well, even beyond that, if you force them to buy into Dispel Magic to deal with you, you're already kind of winning, because you're forcing them to invest 3.2K delaying a spike out of a carry. So I think that's really interesting too.
Also, I'm okay with Stamina Mastery Rising as a player who plays all the low stamina heroes. I'm okay with this going up.
I think this is the most fun item in the game. I don't know if that's a controversial take. I think no one wants Stamina Mastery nerfed. It's just too much fun. Like, I don't even really play that many characters that use it, but it's just too much fun.
I think it's an item that literally everyone could use though, because of the extra dash it gives you and the extra jump
it makes your dash. I honestly think this item might be underbought. The only characters that aren't really going to buy this item are like hard carries who just have unholy movement speed and they don't want to press their staminas because they want to keep shooting their gun. Like, you know, like Warden with, you know, giga late game movement speed, right? Like, yeah, okay, you're just going to run and slide everywhere. There's no reason to use dashes. But more or less everyone else, right? Like, your frontliners can get in a better position. Your supports can stay out of trouble. I even see it built. I mean, characters like Venator, I see this bought a lot because positioning is so crucial. Being able to, you know, be on the right side of that wall or outplay somebody and stun them against it, right? Like, those are super valuable for somebody like Venator. So I expect to see this item maybe continuing to rise alongside Counterspell. And I mean, this is Spirit Resilience, by the way, that I think both of the Resilience has got a pretty big nerf, right? The benefit they give you in your low HP isn't quite as extreme as it was before.
Not as easy to work it all in here, but it looks like we are almost ready to get into our best of three. As I say, the final boss of EU in Abrahams is going to be going up against Leviathan, who got their retribution in the previous game, Jason, being able to get to this final after missing out on it last week. Can they topple the Abrahams is the big question.
And I don't think any team's gonna be able to topple Abrahams until we get some North American action, but I want to see Leviathan try, Jake. I want to see them take a map, a legitimate map off of them, because I don't want to see EU stagnate. I want to see teams be able to push Abrahams, not just to beat them, but to make them a better team. I feel like if you're at the top of the table for such a long time, it's really hard to get anyone out there to challenge you to improve, to challenge you
it's
to
like, how do you
think about the game a different way.
How do you keep climbing? When you look at NA, that problem doesn't exist. North America is actually quite competitive right now. Melee creeps often pushed. They've defended their title for quite a while, but it's been hard fought. For Abrahams, it's been a while since there's been that proper test against them. We'll see if something can arise today and maybe bring them that kind of a threat. It's a very new draft from Leviathan. 2 new heroes employed. Bit of a different look than we've seen before. And curious to see how Sonya handles the Mirage. Has an incredible late game on this hero, but I think the early game is pretty weak. You know, at this moment in the game, I think you are a little bit of a liability in the laning phase. Used to be kind of a dominant laner too, but I don't feel like he's quite in that same position any longer. But hey, you get off to a hot start in this game, you come out of the jungle in 25 minutes, and this could get scary.
And looking at Leviathan's side, it seems like Fremont has kind of switched up roles within the team. I feel like he was normally the Rayek player, the initiator. He would play like the paradoxes for the team. And now Rayek's the one to fill that role, and he's been allowed to play more of a damaging role. And then even for Bobby to come in and be one of these frontline bruisers that they need for their team is going to be, I think, a hard thing to kind of like learn and coordinate within the roster, considering he was on Billy last game. Looked very, very strong at it. Take a look at our lanes here. We have Yamato and Paige, the Bobby and Infallible paired up against Sonya Sniper, and of course Tass. And Tass, best Paradox EU. I don't think there's necessarily a doubt about that, since Michaelis isn't here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at all the initiators, and Taz is kind of the standard bearer. There's been more competition as of late. This is going to be Rayek's opportunity to show what he can do. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen that matchup. Taz just focusing heavily on the creeps. I think recognizing wisely that they cannot fight this Yamato Page, at least at this phase of the game. Some nice moves with the kinetic carbine, just too awkward for Bobby to connect that max power slash, which does help. I mean, every power slash misses in this lane, right? The things progress and clear these creeps just a little bit faster. This is all Sonya wants in this lane, right? Just stay alive, don't take too much damage, and once you get that ultimate online, maybe make some well-timed roams to get that spike off a little bit quicker.
Now, where is Overseas? He's on the right-hand side.
Wait, Rem is ganking at like 1 minute and a big stun from Venator. He's boxing,
in the tunnel boy.
This is expensive, right? It's a lot of damage onto Billy, and leaving together alone. He has to go base, maybe? He's grabbing some boxes. I guess he can't. There's no way he can give up this wave, but it's a pretty steep cost to pay. I mean, together getting kind of caught out by Venator, and Silver following up as well. I love the rusted barrel. This is another very underbought item, especially at low ranks. Like, this is an item that you see it way more often at the top level of play. It just doesn't feel that powerful. You're like, yeah, whatever. It's a little bit of a debuff, but giving Shred on especially Silver scales the damage from your slam fire, so it's just incredibly valuable on this character in particular.
I mean, even just against M1 heroes too. The fact is you can slow down their speed, making trades more valuable for you and easier to pull off, giving you that extra control in lane as you're seeing here. I mean, obviously, Saint was in lane. He was roaming around the map. He picks up his Guardian Ward.
He's 2.7. I see why he was doing this. He just got like 600 souls from running the tunnel boxes there. That's actually kind of crazy. If they lose this tower, I don't think it's worth it, but if they can hold it and not let any more pushes come in, it could feel okay. Still, that's like 2/3 Guardian HP at 3 minutes. I feel like you're feeling pretty good about that on Leviathan. Abrahams, though, finding a kill, I believe in the mid lane, is exactly what they needed to relieve a little bit of pressure that's being put out here.
And if you're looking at, I think, a 3.1k soul for Saint, I think you're looking at an early nap time gank somewhere in one of these lanes. I think that'd be the perfect opportunity. Speaking of ganks, Task going to be coming through on the right-hand side. It's the connect onto Overseas. And the follow-up is a good amount of damage, but not able to turn this into a kill, but kind of turn things around when it comes to the pressure in this lane. Maybe alleviating that pressure on that Guardian on the right-hand side.
And maybe no need to gank, right? You think about if you get that Billy ult set up as well, you got a lot of control in this lane with the sleep into the Billy ult. Billy, of course, getting that free heavy melee off the sleep is super valuable. So Overseas getting a solo here in that lane, though, that is going to be nice. Going to get him back up to some decent HP. Sonya barely staying alive in the mid lane. He's going to be so low HP. I don't think he can defend this tower. He's going to risk it here, but this is actually pretty scary. One power slash cuts you down, and Yamato was chasing for that. So good awareness from Sonya. Gets out, but that, I mean, with a full wave dying like that, this is going to be a hard crash into the tower. Mirage doing everything he can to slow it down, but it's just not much. Shiv has to come in to try to alleviate some of that pressure. Dimov could turn this into some kills.
And these rotations out of Abrahams, I think you're being punished. And I think Leviathan deserves some credit in this one. Realizing that Task left, realizing there's no Rem either. Put the pressure on, look for some damage onto that Garden, and eventually force the rotates to come back into this lane to defend. But both buffs are going to be up, and Abrahams will pick up both as well. Movement for Task, that's ideal. And I think that was gun buff, if I'm not mistaken, for Sonya's Sniper.
That's
a really
so
strong
good.
fight coming up soon for them.
I think Abraham's right now, one of the things that I'm seeing just in this game that makes them look like the best team in the world is that the way they're playing the map is so much more dynamic than their opponent. Like, they're almost freely roaming from lane to lane. Even characters like Shiv being willing to get in on these roams. I think this is a great read in the meta right now. Like, it's not just your Paradoxes and your Lashes that are, happy to roam and look for ganks. Shiv can do so too, right? As long as you have one person in each lane, you're not really missing out on much. So being willing to bring those overloads, yeah, you're not finding like the big blowout team fight yet, but and it all puts more and more pressure onto Leviathan, and they have been playing much more statically, much more kind of married to the lanes, playing things a little bit more standard.
I think the downside of that isn't enough for going for these ganks, because you use the box maxing to pull off ganks, right? So that way you don't really lose much, and then you have a solo laner soak extra souls, but you're not really punished that badly if you don't get a kill. I mean, you kind of get a big advantage if you do get a kill. I don't know how you feel about that, Jake. I'm kind of torn about how you really don't get punished too heavily for going for that, but also I want more early game action, so I don't know how you balance that out.
I don't mind it. I don't mind the state of the game right now. I'm sure we'll see more tweaks to things like soul sharing. That's like a foundational element of the MOBA aspect of this game. So I'm sure that's far from final. And I will say the advantage right now, soul advantage, yes, Abraham's getting a little bit more from these roams, the box maxing, but the tower pressure so far has favored Leviathan. They haven't been able to secure these towers, and that sleeps. It's a free heavy melee for Billy. He's going to look for a tower dive here. Guardian Ward from the Rem keeps him healthy, makes him willing to take these risks. Parry missing. Oh, here comes the Aerodomini. Wisely, I think Billy recognizes. Oh, you got to respect this one. Last shot is blessed. This could be an execute, I think, if he hits it. Billy just wants to get that HP up. Doesn't want to risk that burst threshold. Oh, that proc from... Oh my god, Paige just died from a third HP from the max proc.
That had to been 8 stack of Jin's Mark.
Does he have a max? There's no way, right?
Actually,
I don't think he has 5 points. I think it's just a quad stack, but that's a lot of damage.
That was still big. Well, the pressure's still being put on, even with these roams. Abraham still have a 6,000, 5,000 soul lead here. Just 7 minutes in, just from what they've been able to do around the map. Sonya being left alone is at 6.7 thousand souls. And even Saint's at 5.8k with how aggressive he's been on these roams.
Backstabber, great to have here on this gank. Warden running for the hills. He's just letting that backstabber proc over and over again. Doesn't have much choice in the matter. And the big lash ult from Hoot. Almost certainly going to be securing that kill. Hoot finds it. Oh, and a beautiful parry there onto together. That's exactly what you needed on Silver, but hold on. He gets the counter parry. He somehow managed to get out of that debuff a little bit quicker than Fremont was expecting, and I was caught by surprise too. That parry might have done enough to pull together out of this. He's getting a lot of value out of these melees, staying healthy even against the life strike. And so trading decently well against the Lycan. I will say the thing about Lycan is it's a full throwaway ult, right? Anytime you can proc it, it's probably for the best, right? It never really hurts. Since you're getting a nice heal off of it, you're putting a lot of damage pressure on the opponent. Together, they'll look at him, he's just getting healed up. He's going to be back into this fight in no time. Is it going to be quick enough to defend the tower, though? That early tower damage could start to pay off right now.
Oh, Saint, I think actually the bullet wasn't used. They weren't trying to go for lockdown top of them, and we will see to get back to the tower in time to help defend against this one. So we have not seen a Guardian go down so far in this game. The pressure is in the hands of Abrahams at the moment, as there's a fight breaking out in towards middle, and they're trying to
contest this.
Saint
contesting the sinners. Trying to get that Lycan proc off. So crucial. Parry missed, though, and that's going to open up the heavy melee for Together to finish off Fremont now. Diving for more. Billy with the full blasted. Chasing down under tower. This is a very healthy Guardian. No damage to actually take that down. So the longer you stay here into this trade, the worse it gets. Overseas the shotgun pushes away. And by the way, wait, that's 3 kills across the map. So by the way, on the other side lane, also a dominant fight win for Abrahams. And the game looking a little bit scary right now. Jason, we talked about this team being the best in Europe, and they're starting to show why, right? They use the Guardian HP as a resource in the early game, get a little bit ahead on the soul advantage, and now they're just winning everywhere. I mean, this game is actually almost out of control. Like, we're comeback earn on first earn. That is sort of a terrible sign for Leviathan. If you can get the comeback earn, it feels pretty okay, but that's not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. Are you seeing these little green circles on the mini map, by the way?
That is the Rem minions.
That's the followers, right?
Yeah. So it wasn't, I believe, on Rem's release, but now when you're on Rem's team, or I suppose a spectator, we can see those little green minions on the map show where Rem has been buffed those creeps. And honestly, those creeps are insane, man. Like, I was playing Yamato the other day. I'm like max power slashing the creeps, and they are not dying. I'm like, I'm losing the 1v1 to the creeps right now because of that Rem. Paige trying to fight this in the low ground, but yeah, Shiv comes to back up Taz. D-Mob picks up a nice kill onto Flammable. Rayek dies elsewhere in the mid lane. Sonya now getting active, and oh my god, Jason, this game is like, if this game feels over, we're 10 minutes in, and I'm genuinely worried this game is over. Oh no, and not Yamato too.
Tofu is the name, but who is the game? Ends up pulling off another kill. 9.7k for him, 10 for Sonya. The lead is a bolstering almost 20k. It might actually hit that point here in just a few seconds of time, as the urn has been picked up, but is in hot pursuit. You can see D-Mob and Tass. Oh. They do get the swap onto him as well, and the execute the killing blow.
Who can stop him? Okay, maybe they don't know that. I think if he knew, he could have just dunked the urn right there. That would have been heinous, actually. He's gonna run it away, which I think is probably the safer call. Took you a while to get that kill. But everyone is building, by the way, full damage from Abraham's. Like, everyone is building to snowball the game. Everyone is building to just continue this blistering offense pace. Let's see what Shiv buys. He's really thinking about this. So just go Spirit Brazil. I think this is actually right. I think everyone else should build damage, and D-Mom should be pure tank. And just be, if you just can't kill Shiv this game and everyone else is bringing the damage, I just think this is a massive recipe for success. Especially considering damage, it's going to be very Spirit heavy for Leviathan until Warden comes online, and that's a long way away. Like, Warden getting active in this game, we're looking 10 minutes in the clock, and you're staring down the barrel of a 20k soul disadvantage. Yamato has ulti, but what does it matter? Does get a parry on a ship before popping the ulti, but there's nothing to write home about there. He's just on 1 HP and gets cleaned up.
It's a reason we say they're the best team in the EU, and teams have not figured out how to close the gap.
Dude, like, I mean, it is insane to be this far ahead. Like, that is unreasonable. In competitive games, when everyone can watch what they're doing, right? Like, this is, you know, these replay codes are available. There's no hiding. You can watch the VOD, you see what Abrahams does, you try to replicate it, try to approach it, and they're just on another level that other teams can't figure out. Taz kills Rayek again. I mean, how many kills has Leviathan had this game? Is it like 1 or 2? I mean, this feels like they've had no purchase whatsoever.
I think is I'm looking at chat, and people are just like, you know, FF the game, etc. You know, the game's over, but this is like the number 1, number 2 team in EU we're talking about.
It's crazy.
And honestly, there isn't really that big of a difference when it comes to like individual skill between the two teams, but this is one team who's mastered being able to take a lead and advantage and turn it into way more. Abrahams are just that far ahead of the rest of the teams in EU at the moment. It is insane, and I don't know when the hell we're gonna find a team able to dethrone them until we get to the first Deadlock Night Shift land coming to your hometown. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't tease me. Shiv's thinking about diving this walker. He's really thinking about it. That would not be a good play, but he was considering it. Speaks volumes about the state of the game. Yamato is going to full sack here, try to take down a tier 1 Guardian, but not even going to be able to get that. The response a little bit too quick here from Abrahams, keeping these waves out with the Rem minions. And it's just a bloodbath. There's like nothing. You have to find some sort of huge team fight turnaround. I will say one thing about Deadlock. People underestimate, like, comebacks are incredibly hard, but the reward you get for one massive fight is actually so big that it kind of equalizes the game. If you get like one big team fight, one massive overextension from Abrahams under a walker that leads to them wiping, they could be in real trouble. No tornado up for Mirage, but he is just going full alpha male onto this Warden. Empty Dream's dead again. The help of Billy this time. There's just nowhere safe to farm on this map. They're fighting so far past their own wave. Typically that would be a risky move, but in this game, they're just playing like they can do no wrong.
I mean, they're 25k ahead 14 minutes in. Like, they can't do any wrong.
Double armor Shiv. Oh god. Oh god.
Well, you couldn't kill him before, and now it's it's impossible.
He is actually immortal on this build. Oh, Lash ult finds 2. Big pickup is the follow-up there. Big slam. Now they're trying to burst down, especially that Silver before she can proc the ultimate. And oh, the rallying charge just a second too late. Could not save the Silver. Warden Trap tries to save. Slows things down for a minute. Okay, Overseas, hold on. Finds a kill into Hoot. And you're fighting your walker with very short respawns. The Max Domini, pure damage does go through these heavy armors from Shiv, but you need more than one shot to fight on this Shiv. And D-Mob looking for more. All alone here on the holiday. And, I mean, they're playing with God mode right now. Like, this Warden's gonna die too, man. They're getting so desperate for these kills, which I understand. Like, the kills are worth so much in the comeback position, but this is a painful one.
It's about sending a statement here to them, I think.
This is about sending a message. Wait, the Jukes? Where the hell did he go? Okay, empty dreams. All right, all right. I don't know how the hell he got out of this one, but he's gone.
But while this has been happening, guess who's been just farming away in the right-hand side of the map? Like Sonya, he's at 17k. Who even comes close to the other side? It's Venator at the moment. Overseas at 14. But I mean, with how you see these fights have been going, there really isn't a chance for him to get that 1v1 he might be looking for. And I think Abrahams are just showing they can battle so well with 5 players and just let Sonya keep farming away as their late game win condition. If somehow this lead does get thrown, it's 23 or 23.
Pressuring Mirage right now. Hold on, the Mirage being pressured under tower. They're threatening a dive on him too. Yamato, I think this is actually an understandable play, but it's so hard to kill Mirage. He has such powerful tools. Here comes a life buff Billy, effectively immortal here. Yamato throwing damage, and it's just meaningless. Throwing pebbles at the Titanic right there. Empty Dreams and Bobby both dropping. Continuous wave pressure on the other side of the map now. And this tanky ship would just love to bait a player to try and chase for a kill.
Okay. Decent catch, but there's going to be no follow-up for this one. There is a silver behind them. Fremont is around at the shop. And he's got the health advantage to potentially pull this one off here. But again, it is D-Mob on Shiv. He's got the smooth moves. He's got backup at a Sonic Sniper to hit that tornado and knock that silver right up into the air. And Fremont, well, the chase was coming through, but I don't think you're going to get the escape.
He's got the passive on, but Silver's actually pretty mobile, right? That boot kick is pretty sick escape tool. And the Ricochet queued up next. I think Ricochet is really, I mean, Ricochet and him is where the game will end for Leviathan. Like, they need to be able to come back into the game before Mirage is fully online, but that feels like a ridiculous thing to be asking for when they're losing their walkers. Like, they're just trying to stay alive in this one, and Mirage is a ticking clock against them. Death Slam does send 2 players away to get chained by the Billy. The knockdown kind of mitigates the fall from Lash, but the chain keeps them in position. Hoot wakes up from the stun, picks up those kills. Billy now diving under the tower. Shiv just tanks a full tower stomp, doesn't seem to deal damage to him. Apparently, D-Mob playing with release Shiv somehow bugged into this one.
Well, there's a overwhelming amount of players on the right hand side for Leviathan, realizing they can't do anything to defend the left or the middle lane, and they need to get these kills. It's going to be long death timers that they could potentially pull one of these off. Rake's going to be the first one to fall. They're losing a 3-on-2 here. Even the last 10 coming through.
Hold on.
There's a Dispel Magic being used, and the chase is looking good, but
oh, that's such a tragedy for Warden. Sonya gets away. I mean, this whole play was all designed to try and kill Sonya, to slow down some of this value. And Sonya's not even backing out of this one. Meanwhile, Midwalker going down. Iradomini popped. Okay, wait, Lash locked down. They just throw the rallying charge in. Use everything. We need to get every kill we possibly can. It's going to cost Pager life, but any kind of, I mean, you could honestly trade like 2 or 3 for 1 right now, and that may be a winning trade for Leviathan, considering how far they are behind in this game, how long the spawn timers will be for these Abrahams players.
I'm surprised
the map is closing in around you, man. I mean, look, that's the only way you lose the game, like, honestly. And I will say now you could go for it, though, right? Because rallying charge, Warden ulti, and Yamato ulti all on cooldown, right? So there's actually something to be said about going for a risky mid boss when all those key ultis are down. I actually wouldn't hate it at this moment when Hoot spawns. Go for the gamble. That would be very Abrahams. I would say it would be very bad play to go for the gamble when all those key teamfight ults are up, as we saw in the last game. The threat of the comeback in the mid pit, very real.
I mean, look how just confident Together can play here. He's got the backup of his team. He knows he has the advantage. And that's just a complete catch on a Fremont. No chance to escape this, even when he has his teammates around him. And Rake, I don't think he's going to get away from this one. The chase is still on there. D-Mob comes in for Flammable, gets another kill to add to his tally. And Rake going to fall here in just a few seconds. I mean, okay, well, if you were going to go mid-boss before, this is the perfect time to do it now with 3 players dead.
Yeah, and I think Bobby has to go for a contest here with the ulti. Just try to last at these regives. Try to take at least 1 or 2 off the table. I will say the soul deficit hasn't expanded as fast as I would have thought. Like, Leviathan, although they're dying all over the map, this game actually looks worse than it really is. Like, they've managed to keep the soul deficit relatively, like, 30k is bad, but it's still playable in your own base, especially if you get a rejuve steal. Looks like Bobby's going to go in for it. He looks like he's tornado though off the pit and swapped into the wall. Silenced again. There's so many silences on this Yamato. She has counterspell, but that's not enough, man. Like 4 or 5 silences thrown into Yamato, and this is a brutal game now for Bobby.
A Soundswave picked up here for Saint.
I think they have 2. I think Hoot had 1 too, unless I missed it. Maybe it was Saint from napping alongside Hoot. Hard to keep track.
Tagging along. And Mystic Expansion for bigger pillows, bigger nap
give him a
times.
box. He needs 1 box. Please? Okay, high roll. He's not going back. He's just greeding it up. Let's check out the box run, man. There's like a whole little world. I love that the boxes are tiny. It's so good. I think that's like the cutest thing. Like, I got stuck down here as Yamato once with a bug, and I was like, why are these boxes so little, like baby boxes?
For Baby Rem.
Yeah, he's just a little guy. There's stuff going on in the map, but this is weirdly cathartic for me right now.
Our yellow guardian has been defeated.
I'm trying to think if we're ever to get other heroes that can go in those tunnels too.
Oh, we have to, right?
It has to
I mean,
be.
Calico can, right? But she's just not being played that much right now. I think it's a genuinely cool attribute, right? It's very Dota to put in a mechanic like that. This is like completely crazy and unique, and only some heroes interact with, and like. But I think it's a lot of fun as well. Shiv, maybe looking for a chase down. Has a little helper on him. Holiday, ooh, I think you die very quick. Oh, and a heavy melee risk. You had to go for that to get this kill. And it is going to be enough to take down Rayek.
New York is under my
And they have the urn too. With the rejuve, they're just gonna dunk this one in. They were using it to try to
He's
force
got
the
a
fight
heavy
if
melee.
needed.
He's got melee charge on Shiv. It's the pump build. It's the melee Shiv build. I mean, it's just that kind of a game. He could go for Crushing Fist into this one. Aggro urn turn in as well with the rejuves online. Abrams are being wise. They're waiting for the right moment. They're probably waiting for this Mirage inhibitor, who he could buy this right now. He has Ricochet inhib online if he can make it to a shop.
Looks like Silver Fremont might be the one getting caught out here. Tries to sneak away into the subway, but only sneaks in towards his grave. I mean, you might have a lot of mobility, but you're not escape this many players coming on your way. But we do have a donation coming in from Hammerpaw, who tipped $10 into the prize pool. But I'm going to bring Kalaris in to actually say what the message was. Kalaris, are you there? Oh, here we go.
Yes. Woo!
Not bad. Not bad.
There we go. We got it out of him. I want to highlight this too.
I expected the echo though, but
it's a double Rezil buy from Taz. I think this is like an understudied look for some people. Like, you want to, understand how to like not just win a Deadlock game, but to like really dominate it and snowball these leads. Going double Rezil and Paradox, like normally I would say this is a terrible build. Like, you just don't have enough utility. But in this game, like, you are probably one of the most vulnerable players. You're going to be swapped in an awkward position at the start of every team fight, and to just be unkillable on Paradox and to guarantee that the enemy's not going to be able to find counter kills on you is like worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, I like building more defensive when you're ahead and not necessarily building more offensive.
He has Crushing Fist.
Okay, all right, D-Mod, I'm just showing off now.
Okay, sure, why not? Why not?
If you're already ahead, you're already hard enough to kill, and if you make yourself even more hard to kill, there's no chance you're gonna 1v1. Whereas if you don't like build into resist or build into vitality, you could technically lose that if something happens.
I like that Rick is taking players on a wild goose chase though. Like, low-key, this is kind of one of the more impactful things you can do when you're very far behind, is just waste time. And you might drop base guardians with these rejuves, but the rejuve timer's gonna run out. I will say the lead has expanded. We're looking at like more than 45k soul lead. And he goes Leech instead of Inhib. I mean, maybe, again, this is probably a more survivable choice since he already has Ricochet. The damage he outputs is ridiculous. If he's leeching on top of that damage, good luck ever bringing down this barrage. And the enemy team doesn't deal damage anyway, so why would you need to inhibit their lack of damage?
Yeah.
You might go Silencer this game. Like, honestly, maybe you don't need Inhib in a game this dominant.
I mean, he's not too far off. I was going to say, are we even going to see that point? But at 5.5k souls, he's going to have
believe me.
very, very quickly.
He's farming. He's farming. Look at that bag. What's he got on him? He got 1,000 bag on him. All right. All right.
14-0 DMOF.
What do you think the go sign is here?
3 kills to 39.
Disgusting. What do you think is going to trigger the attempt to end the game here from Abrahams? I guess it's like next buff. I mean, like the typical play, it would be in a normal game, it would be very normal to wait for the next mid boss. But this is an exceptional lead. Like, this is one of the most dominant leads we've maybe ever seen on the night shift. And honestly, I mean, it's like, as much as we want Abrahams to like go for the risky gamble to finish the game, like, this is like a mentally taxing for Leviathan. This is a very sad game to find yourself stuck in. And for Abrahams, they're happy to just rest, relax, and hang out in this game state, like kind of drain the energy from Leviathan, looking forward to that best of 3, and he will grab the Silencer first. So this may be the go time. I don't know that this Mirage is fightable any longer in the game. Maybe there's like Rayek with a lasso super deep. You do have a refresher on page. Could help with, like, if you can, I don't know, find a 6-man page ult. Like, I'm grasping at straws here. I don't know who's going to deal the damage, though, to all these double armor heroes.
Well, you asked me, what are we looking for Ray Abrahams here? I would say it's going to be Urn. Use the Urn to force a fight. If they don't fight you, you go take mid boss. If they don't fight you, just take base. I think it's almost as simple as that. But as we're seeing, Leviathan are making some moves here, going to the left-hand side of the map here, looking to pick up the urn when it spawns in. You know, I have to give credit to Leviathan. Even though they're down 50K here, Jake, they're still focusing on what they can do to get back in this game here. And I think that deserves a lot of respect.
I think this is a good showcase of how to look for the comeback plays. They send the Warden ahead to bait on the wave. He's the only one showing on the map there for Abrahams, and they have the entire team behind him. So if Abrahams is feeling a little bit too cocky and they go for that gank onto Warden with, like, let's say 3 players, feeling like, oh, it's a quick kill, we'll pick it up, you could find yourself in a 6v3, which even at this soul deficit could actually go bad for you. So, I mean, this is the kind of attempt, the kind of feint you have to be looking for to find a way back into the game. But it's the experience from Abrahams, man. They don't bite. They read, hey, no one else is showing on the map. We're not going to take that kind of a risk. Although, hold on, Lash could be finding the initiation here. This is what we talked about, though. There's a lot of players ready to fight this one. I don't know that the backup is really there for Abrahams. They've already found 1 kill, though, and maybe this lead is just overwhelming. The slam down, already 2 kills found. Abrahams, even without a couple of their key players, still into this fight. And again, it's Mirage, right? So he's always ready for that kind of an engage.
And if he gets into that engage, guess what? You're going to be silenced. You're not going to be able to use any abilities. If he even gets to that point of proccing it, considering you still have Hoot at 31K, together at 30, Tass even at 30K. I mean, mid-boss should be coming up soon, and I think that's kind of where the state of the game is going to end. I don't see a world where you can test this with 2 players down. You have to let this.
I mean, I think you should. Like, the game is over if you give this triple mid. I think truly, like, you have to just, I mean, this is a moment where the game is so far out of control. You need some sort of like a god parry. They're doing mid boss while doing urn. I mean, fair, I guess. And by the way, Taz is like guarding them on the top, making it hard for them to get into the pit and preventing them from even being able to contest this rejuve. So it will be a free triple rejuve. And Abrahams with the 60,000 soul lead. I mean, in the past, Abrahams made some egregious throws, but this is a different team that we've seen before. They've leveled up, and now they're just wanting to close this one out perfectly clean, have a flawless game for some of their cores.
They're just here to ruin the new heroes' win rates, man. Venator, 1 win, 1 loss so far on the day here, as this game will inevitably come to a close. Even though the left lane of Leviathan is shoved out, they have no way to do anything about this to look for that walker, and they would love to get themselves a flex slot here, but there's no chance. The chain gang comes through as well. Barely gets the first kill, and he's just more than happy to take this shrine where the rest of his team fights away. And when you have Demov at 32K with ult reset, he's going to do just that.
Predator with the air dominate, looking for some executes. I mean, they're getting ganked in the fountain right now. This is getting bad. There's a player in the enemy fountain. That's, you know, the game is a little bit out of control. I have been seeing this in some of my games too, where you're winning so much you actually can fountain dive. I think I was playing a game with Zorky. He had like a 25-0 silver game, and we were just fountain diving. But this level of play, surely not. First patron down, still 3 rejuves to the name of Abrahams. Demov just ensuring, hey, nobody gets any ideas. You guys are allowed to stay in your own throne. That is it. No chance to come out and defend this patron. They're still going to try it though. They're going to give it that one last shot. Leviathan have to find some kind of a big counter kill. Flammable, maybe with those rallying charges, could disrupt this one, as 1 rejuve is already down. Executes though, coming thick and fast. Demov has found 1, looking for more. Sonya does go down once. The second rallying charge is enough to drop this Mirage. Can they take him down again, though? They need to stop the damage pumping out from Mirage. They're fighting in the pit, getting a lot of value off these curses, but Mirage still healthy. Demov with every single execute. And it's just a feast now for Abrahams. Almost 100,000 soul lead.
Don't take a picture of that. I don't know if chat can see it. A 22 kill streak for Demov. 22. That has to be the highest kill streak we've had in Night Shift ever.
That was the most painful game I've ever seen on our show. I mean, that was monstrous. Like, I would have abandoned if that was a pub. I would have been too tilted.
That's a cannon rush if I've ever seen one, Claris, right?
Like a tiger mauling an asthmatic child, I think is fair to say. That was ridiculous. I thought 10 minutes.
Why does the child have to be asthmatic?
Well, you know, just like a pathetic cough. anyway, like, but that was brutal. I cannot believe what we just witnessed. I thought at 10 minutes, genuinely, Jake, I was like, yeah, what if they just buy like 4 torment pulses, just stand there, just like, just wait for them to die. That was insane, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of just spent the time talking about all the things Abrahams does right in that kind of a game, what the things that set them apart as this like world elite team. But man, as a game one in a BO3, it's a statement. Like there's what we talked about Abraham's being this team. Oh, maybe they don't take things super seriously when they're up. Like they've thrown games in the past. I feel like they've learned their lesson from those moments, and they're managing to just keep these incredibly clean games. Like this is a team that is putting on a show for us, really, and just demonstrating what's possible at this level of play and the gap really between them and anyone else in the European region.
Yeah, I think they saw the prize pool last week, and they were like, I think they saw the prize pool last week because we had so many donations. I think we were over like $2,500 for prize pool. And they're like, yeah, I want that again. I don't want to throw the game. I don't potentially lose out on that another time.
It's fair. I mean, look how they played it out, right? I mean, highlights abound here for the Abrahams boys. And I think one thing that's always interesting to me as well is that all of them just playing at such a high octane level. And then you've got the Rem, who's uncontested in those tunnels, effectively soaking up more souls on the map than Leviathan can ever even hope to, because they can't even access that, Jason. So it's picture perfect, really, from Abrahams.
I mean, this is just the state of when one team is better and what they can do when they play their macro properly and they can battle against you. They suffocated Leviathan.
Yes.
There was, I mean, that I guess that's the asthmatic kid. It kind of makes sense now if I think about it that way. But they suffocated them. There was nothing they could do. They could not get their own farm in their own jungle. You saw Abraham so confident they could fight on the enemy side of the map without any worry, even being a man down. Felt confident enough to take mid boss and turn in the urn at the same time. But obviously that was when they had a 50k lead. There was really nothing stopping them. No one got a good start on the Leviathan side. They had 3 kills, I think, maybe 4 at the end, like who I think died another time.
Oh.
But off the get-go, I mean, even with Saint running around the map, farming boxes, you saw him, as you point out, Jake, 600 souls ahead of anyone in his lane.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, Together is really getting punished by this in the lane, like leaving the lane like that. Is it really worth it? And then he just turns up and has like a big soul impact in the lane, comes out, buys the Guardian Ward, really adds a lot of strength to Together. And they come back and they proceed to hold that Guardian for a few more minutes, like really turning the lane around. So, I mean, it's just the experience to be able to make plays like that in the early game, to trust each other and make those responses. Like they're so dynamic in the early game. It's like you can't even say one thing, oh, it's one player, it's this guy roaming. It's like half their team is roaming and they're just perfectly bouncing around from one another. When one person goes to one lane, they're going to bring strength somewhere else. And the way they leverage that strength on the map is just, it's best in class. No one else in maybe melee creeps is like on that level. But honestly, the early game, I think Abraham stands alone in the world right now.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, especially with the new tools that do exist. I mean, the fact that you're leaving Billy in that lane to be able to just kind of defend against that whilst Saint is leaving, to be able to take all those boxes and then being confident in that choice as well, Jason. It's different mentality, Deadlock, compared to how everybody else is playing right now, especially in this region.
Yeah, if you can't get in a position to play like Abraham's are against the team, you don't really, I think, get to practice the later stages of those games and like what you can do to snowball a lead with just a slight advantage. And when you're playing against Abraham's all the time, it always happens to you. So at least you get to see it on one end of the spectrum of what you can do. But yeah, Abraham's completely different tier, it feels like, when it comes to EU. And honestly, I don't think we've even seen melee creeps have stomps like this. Though I kind of would say the region is a little bit more competitive, so it's kind of hard to have a stomp like that.
We are almost across all streams, Jake, at 10k viewers here for the night shift. What do you make of that one?
Now we're cooking, boys. We're super psyched with Twitch giving us that official co-streaming feature. I mean, the way the community supports the events, honestly, it means the world to us. Like, this is really why we're doing this in Deadlock, to have a space for the community, to have esports action, to have the competition. So the level of support in the donations of the prize pool, the subs, the Patreon support on our Twitch, all of our wonderful co-streamers. It's just cool to see this, man. This is like, these are the golden days of Deadlock. We're living through them now, right? And I think this game's going to go huge and be like that next level international esport, but I'm just enjoying it right now. To have this level of community support and so much excitement around the game is a beautiful thing to watch. And maybe Abraham's best team in the world, maybe they're head and shoulders above. I guarantee that won't last forever.
Yeah.
There will be stiffer challenges, maybe even in the next game, because you know what? I think of Leviathan, on the one hand, you can say, look, we got blitzkrieged out of the early game and we never had really a chance in this game. You can throw that one away, and if you have a better laning phase, we could see at least a different style of game in game 2. I still think Abraham's, you got to give him credit as the heavy favorite to win it all, given that showing, but I want to see a more fight out of Leviathan and really show us what they can do as individual players. I don't think we really got to see a fair shake on that in this game.
Well, allow me to be an old man for a second, Jason, before we go to that break, because it feels to me, and what Jake was saying at the beginning of that, it feels like the StarCraft 2 moment where all of the scenes kind of came together from other games, and you're seeing something magical form. with Deadlock, because there's a lot of people coming in from other locations, kind of on other genres and things like that. Everyone's loving Deadlock right now, Jason, and I think that this is the culmination of it. It's looking good.
Did you just want to talk about StarCraft again on the stream? Is that what that was?
No. It was just a decent
Jason, you brought up StarCraft like 10 times, all right?
Did you know Nightmare, a StarCraft 2 player, Nightmare, plays on a Korean team, Pulsar?
He does.
Wow.
That is true. And he's very good at both games. Are we going to a break? Is it break time?
We're going to break. That's what break L bar means on the top left hand side of your screen, just to help you out there. I know you're new to hosting, but it's okay.
All right, it's break time. When we return, we have got game number 2 of Abrams going up against Leviathan. Let's see if they can bring it back, or if Abrams can continue to be the crouching tiger.
What?
All right, Abrahams is already looking absolutely phenomenal so far here with the first game in hand after a decimation of Leviathan. Now we'll see if they can bring it back here in this best of 3. But firstly, we have a raid coming in from good old Vegas, an old friend of mine as well. I used to cover him back in the PUBG days. He always had the talent. He always had the potential. And he's here in Deadlock, crushing face. Jason, what do you think about that?
It's better than playing third person. Well, I guess he's technically ended up playing third person anyways, so he couldn't escape it.
You're kind of not wrong. But yes, thank you very much to Vegas. Obviously, we are breaking numbers here for everything going on with the night shift, Jake. It's a fantastic time to be getting into Deadlock. We're seeing peak players as well as Celeste was able to join, and I'm sure those peak players are going to be excited for whichever 6th character may come up soon. Who knows who it'll be?
I'm excited for Apollo, though. Honestly, look, I felt like Apollo was going to be last. You know, he lacked the cuteness factor. He wasn't, a Catholic priest. It's
I'm sure
just,
he's religious.
I mean, well, he's last. All right. If you ain't first, you're last. But he's really last. I'm still curious to see, though. I think this is a great moment for Deadlock. I also hope, tell your friends, guys, get your other Deadlock players on the stream. Let's break 10K today. I feel like we could do it. I feel like we're already nigh on it. We've got, of course, EU coming up next. We're going to finish up EU rather. And then after that, we've got the whole NA region to play. So tell your friends, get them on the stream. Let's break 10K today. Let's break a record here for the night shift.
I heard it here. Kalar said he would wax his eyebrows on stream if we hit 10K viewers. So ladies and gentlemen, get us up to 10K. Eyebrows are going to be gone.
That's so devious, Jason.
No, Jake. He's doing this thing we used to do to another colleague, and he's not here anymore. We're not. Anyway.
I don't remember who that was, but I do DP every time I can.
He's gone now. He's actually moving to Krakow like in a week's time. But anyway,
well, he needs hair on his head, so you need to move the eyebrows.
He needs to move to Turkey. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the draft. Jake, take it away. Pocket already gone.
A first ban Pocket is actually pretty surprising for Abrahams, but I think this means they get the Abrams for themselves, because I think Leviathan have to ban Celeste away. They do not want to let that come into the draft. They've shown their hand pretty clearly that that's the way they're going to approach drafting today. It's always been their first ban for 3 matches, and Abrahams are happy to get the Abrams themselves. This is probably considered the tier 1 frontliner in Europe right now, because that wall charge stun, man, is just insanely powerful. You can kill multiple players. You're incredibly hard to kill, and when you do lock people down, they drop.
You know, is there Natalia's going to come in there. No, Floof's going to come in there and start howling as well.
Nobody needs that. Nobody, don't summon Floof. Jeez Louise.
Okay, you didn't know, Jake. So, Jake, you have dogs. Kalaris has dogs as well, and his dog's name is Floof. Can we get Floof in for the show at some point? But is there a world we see Abrams and Venator in the same lane? I feel like that's
a crazy lane. That's a wild lane, actually. You get like stunned to death literally from anything. I'm wondering, is that probably is a fine lane. I don't see why not. Usually though, I think the problem is Abrams just needs setup for his stun. You don't really need more stuns.
So I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but how the hell do you let Shiv get through to Abrahams?
I mean, Billy and Silver are pretty good. I don't know about the Silver though. I would have rather they take Shiv, Billy. This one's getting tough. I will say also the rules of the drafting have been thrown out, right? We've had a long time where there's been some very stable drafting expectations in Deadlock. And with all these powerful new characters involved, right? With Celeste in now needing to cop bans every time, with Silver being super high prio, it feels like there's some very powerful combinations that have kind of existed already in Deadlock that are actually making it through onto these teams.
I mean, Rem
I'm a little late.
Oh,
Had to finish the
okay,
chapter
so
I was
they're
on.
scared about the potential page ban because what we were theorizing before. I think that Rem coming through from what we saw from it last game, it wasn't really that healing Nova or even the booster. It was just the healing beam, and everything else around him was just so stable anyway, so tanky, so much kind of lifesteal that they didn't really need much healing from the Rem.
Yeah, when you get to that point, with how far ahead they were, it was stat check territory too. So the healing Rem it would just completely mitigate any damage without any problem whatsoever. I wanted to pick your brain, Jake, while you're here, maybe Cloris as well, because we've talked internally about the idea of adding more bans to the game. I just want to hear your thoughts on that, because for me, I kind of like that you can't completely control the picks and you have to adapt on the fly. So I'm kind of enjoying having 4 bans total in the way we currently do it, but inevitably we will get to more bans. But what's your thoughts, Jake?
I do think there's an argument to be made for having more bans now, especially after Apollo joins the cast, right? To have there's a lot more heroes in the game. I think you kind of want bans to keep up roughly in terms of like a percentage perspective on heroes. I wouldn't want too many bans early. I think there's a couple ways you could do it. You could have like 2 bans at the mid stage or 2 bans in the first stage. I wouldn't even mind having a ban, sort of the initial bans, and then a ban after 2 heroes and a ban after 4 heroes could be interesting. So I think there's room. We'll have to explore like what the format is for now. I mean, I think at some point like Valve will come in and make more of like a proper captain's mode format that's not just us like this seems good. So I think they'll probably come and answer that question for us. But I would not be mad after the 6 hero gets added and maybe some balance patches come in to bring things back in line to add a little bit more bans. I think it actually increases the diversity of play as long as you don't go too crazy with it.
It's a clean 40 heroes once Apollo comes in, right? So maybe that's the threshold.
Yeah, because we've had 2 bans since there's been just over 20 heroes. So it is. I think there's an argument to be made. Still, I'm kind of excited to see all the new heroes, as strong as they are, make it through the draft now, and we're seeing a ton of play of characters like Silver and Venator and Rem. And it's just, I think for now, it's like let's just showcase the cool new stuff we have to show in Deadlock. I'm not as worried about like the perfectly optimal format as I am of just like let's get people playing the best players in the world, playing some of our like coolest, newest characters in the game.
I want a show match, no hero limit. Well, okay, there's hero limits, but you can have 2 heroes on the other side. So you could have like 2 Venators, you could have like 2 Celestes. I want to see like a 6v6 of that, of like trying to build the most broken comp.
It's gonna be like 2 Shivs and 2 Abrams and 2 Billies. And you just run it down.
A Viper though is the last pick coming through of Abraham's here. Ooh. It's not very often we see Viper, and they do have 2 wins on her. I mean, then again, they don't really lose, so it kind of does make sense. We haven't seen her since Night Shift number 22, as you can see here when she was picked. It's been a long time, and I mean, technically within this comp, it does give you a lot of lockdown, but I think more importantly, it gives you that early game roam that we'd like to see out of TAS, most likely.
Even more importantly, we get to hear the Lash and Viper romance voice lines, which I know the fans are really have been clamoring for, obviously.
Pregnancy Viper enjoyer?
Any, check the emotes. we better see some of our DLNS custom emotes being used in the chat. I hope people are keeping up with the times here.
For sure, and also keep those donations coming in, because that is all going to be contributing towards this prize pool, and that is very important to keep all of these players good to go. And right now, if Abrams is going to look as they did in that previous game, Jason, some reward should be going their way, because it looks absolutely brutal. My question to you, Jason, is can this lineup from Leviathan stack up against what Abrahams is bringing?
Oh, I don't want to answer that honestly. That's the problem, because I have 2 answers. Sure. I have like a PC answer and an honest answer. I think honest answer wise, I don't think you're going to outpick Abrahams. I think you could put them on almost any composition, and they still will have a very good chance to win. I think for Leviathan, it's about them playing like what they're comfortable with and what they know they can execute and do well, instead of trying to go out of their what's the word I'm looking for here? Out of their, help me out.
Their comfort zone?
I'm an asthmatic kid. Help me out. Oh. Yeah, out of their sandwich. and like flex on to different things they're not as comfortable on. But looking at what they have pick out of Bebop. There's no initiator out of Abrahams besides Lash out of Hoot. But Hoot really didn't have a problem last time. But then again, they didn't really have counter spells to go against. So I don't know. I think they have a solid comp, I think, for sure. But they need to get to the point to allow the comp to be successful to do anything.
I actually think Leviathan arguably has a better draft this game, like period, because I think they've got Bebop against the Lash, which I think is quite nice. I also think Bebop's actually
team names
really useful into Like, you cover the team names, and I'm like, I'm looking at this Leviathan draft. I think this looks better. I just wonder after game one, it's like to your point, it's how much does it matter? How much does, like, Abraham's, it's not like Abraham's has a bad draft. They have like it's like a little bit funky with the Viper, and it looks like it's going to be like Venator hard carry, getting a ton of farm, which I think might be Abraham's having a little bit of fun, but also I'm kind of down. I'm kind of here for the Iradomini one-hitting people in this game. Like, Paige, watch your back. When that ult is maxed and if Venator is like giga farmed, we gotta be on that POV in the late game. Yeah. Just watch bodies drop. But I think Leviathan, they have great tools, right? They have strong laners. They have great like team fight. They have, like, I would say all these heroes are like kind of premier picks. I guess the interesting thing about this draft is no Holiday, no Paradox. It's kind of just Bebop for that initial catch hero. So Abraham's, they're going to be kind of waiting on somebody like Abrams to build Phantom Strike, or I mean, the Lash ulti is sort of a catch tool, but it's a too long cooldown to really see it the same way as somebody like a Bebop or a Paradox.
Well, the question is, will Abrams live up to their name with Abrams on side? Game number 2 here to get things finished here, potentially for Europe, as Jason and Jake are going to bring you all the action.
I could really hear that to get things potentially finished. I think we know which way Klaus is leaning in his prediction here on the channel of who's going to win this one. But I'm really hoping we see the Venator Abrams, and we're not going to see it. It makes me a little bit sad.
We all saw the last game, right? Like, this is mentally a true test for the Leviathan players. You know, we're early in Deadlock, but this is something that's like universal to anyone who's played competitive games of any kind, especially esports. Is you get completely blown out in a game, it is hard mentally to come back and to play your best. Oh, here we go, opening parry right off the rip onto the Silver. Oh, that is not the start you needed in this game, but hold on, maybe Silver able to play her way out of this, although missed parry from Mina. More heavy melees being swung down, and this is a together Abrams rocking our custom Night Shift skin.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be releasing that one at 1,200 subs. Remember, if you guys have Amazon Prime, use that Bezos money here.
Give us your Prime subs. You are commanded.
Prime sub, man. I also heard if we hit like a streak of like 50 subs in like 5 minutes, Klaus will shave his head. Not only wax his eyebrows to 10K viewers, he will shave his head live on stream.
That's crazy. I don't know where you heard that, but that's wild.
And you unlock the Jason feet cam. I don't know why they're doing that.
Don't sub.
Please, I would.
I think I just scared away all the stream.
We're turning off the end of the show. It's over, guys. Look at Venator brawling a little bit here in the side lane. Sonya willing to take some trades. This is definitely a lane for Venator to have a lot of farm, right? You've got Lash here joining him, who is going to help in the lane, but is going to be happy to roam away and give Venator a lot of this solo farm. Get him online with that Iradomini a little bit quicker. That nade bites pretty hard, even on somebody like Billy, right? That lingering heal reduction on top of the damage over time is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it also, one of the few abilities I can use to...
I like he just headbutts for his quick melee. It's so fun.
To be able to like deny area as well. If you're going to hide in that staircase, it's going to cover the ground, gives you the extra damage that you need to really prevent Billy from just kind of running around for free. Bobby gets, I guess, an indirect bait out on a parry. The captivated read's not going to connect.
But Bobby stays alive. Seems a little bit rocky though for Hoot in the laning phase. Expect things to be a little bit stronger. I actually think Billy's in a good position in this lane. Has the Page shield on. Next cooldown, if the Page gets that Guardian ward up, Billy could go for a pretty big dive here. Deceptively tanky with those cooldowns coming off.
In the mid lane, we have Rayek on the Bebop, and that's one I think we've seen him on just yet. Haven't quite connect that hook as a good movement again out of TAS. And we've seen so many great Bebop players in EU. I think we're just absolutely jacked when it comes to Bebop players. You got Overseas, you got D-Mob, you got Hoot, you got TAS. Maybe Rayek we can add to that Mount Rushmore Bebop players in EU.
He's got to prove himself, man. To be alongside Taz, we need to see more. Rayek has looked great on some of the other initiators, but I don't think we've seen too much Bebop out of him just yet. Still, Bebop in the mid with Mirage. I love this lane. I think this gives Bebop a great roam and a big hook under tower. Pulled deep. Now Tornado further allowing damage to be poured in on Shiv. And even with Bloodletting, he's going to be ticking out from this one. Maybe a second kill to be found. And this is exactly what Mirage wants to start off a game. Bebop picking up some bomb stacks, getting that kill, slowing down D-Mob Shiv, which, let's be honest, you really need to be focused on D-Mob Shiv. You don't want to let that guy get out of control in this game. We've seen what can happen with his explosive games.
I'm looking towards TAS here. I want to see how he plays this Homeless Viper.
Bobby's 1 HP. He's done for. Surely, yeah, Hoot cleans that one up. Venator just waiting over the top, and this could turn for more. Works in a cheeky quick melee, standing in cover from the turret, just beaming down Paige. Love the positioning there from Sonya.
Psycho Weave giving out 5 gifted subs here to the channel. Thank you so much for the support, man. We really appreciate it. All the Prime subs that came through as well. I think people really either want to see my feet or they want to see Clara shave his head. I don't know which one it is, but whatever gets us more Prime subs, I think we're happy with.
Dude, it's crazy how efficient Rem can be with getting the boxes. Is like he's literally taking every box in this part of the map. I mean, like there's a lot of souls to be had. And oh, Psycho Weave, the 5 gifted, huge. Big W. Sonya mines flammable again, and oh, this Venator already got some kills with the Iridomini. That's not the character that I mean. Honestly, this draft for Abrahams is a much more tempo early game draft. They don't have that Mirage end game carry potential, but they do have a monster snowball threat. And if Sonya is very far ahead of the game, if Hoot is very far ahead of the game, honestly, I think these are 2 of the best characters in the game to do like a very early tempo snowball, low items, just showing up, ganking, snowballing kills. You've got a lot of fighting power with like the Viper we've seen has been kind of the bread and butter for that style of play.
Yeah, the finish on Lethal Venom is crazy, especially when you get Petrifying Bolt online too. It almost guarantees you a kill. The burst damage that you can do. Gonna be going for Imp Spirit next. And it kind of fits Taz's playstyle from what we just saw in the last game alone on that Paradox. Constantly roaming around, though I don't know if the Viper will have the same level of effectiveness as this Paradox did with the movement. Well, I can't really say movement, but with the swaps and the utility it gives to the team. But it makes them, I think, more powerful when it comes to damage.
Yeah, that snowball's off to a decent start. Mina, though, Empty Dreams also having a pretty solid game for Leviathan. There's going to be some pressure on the carries from Leviathan to show up maybe a little bit earlier than they would have otherwise liked, especially to this side lane. Feels like every time these ults come off CD, like, Paige is just going to die. Like, what the hell can Paige do against the Lash ult at this phase of the game? You better believe she's rushing Knockdown into this one. By the way, Together has a life buff. Oh, cancel charge pulls him away, and ooh, Rem all alone. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get out of this one. Wait, but he gets the double sleep off, so he actually might. The Guardian Ward gives him a little bit of move speed, but he might get hunted. Oh, they're not going to chase. They just recognize he's too slippery on that chasing. Rem. Well, wait, this is crazy, right? This is very deep. Oh, wait, Rem. Whoa, what are you doing here, bro? Saint kind of gave that one away.
Like Skeet shooting frisbees out of the sky there for Fremok, man. The chase, I didn't believe was going to happen either, but hey, it nets him a kill. Keeps him within 1,000 souls between the two. Buys him a life strike as well as returns back to that left-hand side. The Sun, in the meantime, has got another kill in Flammable. We're talking about the Billy Page lane. It's not working out too well for him at the moment.
Bobby's kind of styling on him. Stun. Buys a little bit of time for Venator, but he's low stam. This one looks impossible, right? Surely he can't get out.
Well, he got the Guardian, though. He bought time for Hoot to finish off the tower.
Honestly, though, if you get this kill on a Hoot, I think this is a good Guardian death. Like, you get some very important kills to shut down some of the heavier snowballing heroes. That Guardian was going to die no matter what. Another side wave, though. Pressure being applied. Together with that life buff, happy to take virtually any trade offered to him. And he is a tanky boy on Abrams. Finishes off the Guardian. Silver looking to get a trade off, though. Wants to get that ult proc to maybe turn this into a chase. That Lethal Venom sends Bebop running for the hills, and he just cannot get away. Demov hunts him down, picks up another kill on this Shiv.
I don't think he's going to hit quite the 22 streak we had last time, Jake. Unfortunately for him. Oh, man, we keep getting subs left and right here. Another 5 gifted out of
Mirage.
The players got enough money, all right? I'm going to say it, Jason. The players got enough. The subs, they're coming in hot, keeping the broadcast alive.
I think the name's Marvelous.
Marvelous. Of course.
That's what I'm going with.
No, it has to be. That's the true test of being an esports caster, is your ability to pronounce names that you've never read before.
I love when people get mad when you say player names that are pronounced completely, like, wildly different than what they look like. Yes, how are we supposed to know that? And how is a new viewer supposed to know that it's not Hoot, it's actually Oot? I don't know. I guess you don't run into those too often in NAJ.
Yeah, that's it. That's the EU special, is the actually unpronounceable names. Here comes, oh, Iridomini, it's hitting. Oh, the last one misses. Oh, that was way too close for Bobby. Sonya really wanted to find that kill. I believe that's a maxed ult to Iridomini. Taz finds Flammable. A double sleep, rather a single sleep onto, looks like just Bebop. Hoop slams down onto the Silver, but there's not any damage follow up there. And Bebop could be lasering over the top and giving some trouble to Abrahams. Yeah, Saint zoned away by that one. Some kills hunted down. And this is a much closer game, right? Like, this is the game that the Leviathan were hoping for, a much more competitive one. Sold lead, marginal, I'd say, at 3,000. And also, I think Leviathan have a very significantly better late game. And I actually think this is a game where Abrahams are under pressure to close things out. Not necessarily soon, but before the 30-minute mark, surely, when Mirage becomes that, you know, defensive turret. I don't know that there's really any answers to them in the Abrahams draft.
Oh, charge comes through again.
Oh, good cancel
for the extra movement,
dude.
And they're gonna lose
Together
his
is sick on this character, man. He is clean with it. So hard to catch on this Abrams, even when he looks like he's a kill. I mean, that's part of the challenge with Abrams, right? There's so much playmaking potential with the charge. I think he's one of the most deceptively complicated or like advanced characters in the game. But hold on, as I say that, he's looking scared. He's in a tough spot. Needs to get a parry off here, maybe. Oh, hold on. Guardian Wear from Rem could be enough to pull him out of trouble. And now it's Silver who finds herself in a tough spot, 1v1ing Rem, but with the life strike, it's not really a duel that Rem wants to take.
Another $15 coming in from our Don't Jam. Thank you so much again. All the money goes straight into the prize pool here for donations up to almost 14.
Oh, I get it. It's AR Don't Jam. I see.
Yeah. What's the AR stand for, though?
Assault rifle.
Oh, I thought it was probably just initials, but
that's why I'm a pro and you're just a beginner, Jason. I'll teach you the ways of reading the Twitch chat names.
Or it's why you're an American and I'm more of a European now, I guess.
Oh, all right.
But the urn has been picked up. And it's first of the game. It is in the hands of Leviathan, and they did not. I think maybe one urn, but I'm pretty confident to say they got no urns last game because of the domination that Abraham had.
I mean, if they got an urn, it was a giveaway. You know, this game much more competitive, and I'm kind of curious to check on Overseas game here because I think Mirage farming up a storm here, building some. I guess he's a ways away from being online, but if this urn fight doesn't go your way, as I say that though. Kill already onto Empty Dreams without the Mina. Wait, Mirage is here. Mirage getting active. He makes space. That allows the dunk to come in. Overseas might have sacrificed his life for this, but here comes the Page Ult trying to keep him alive. Mirage, huge damage there in this fight and seems to be being kept up here by the support from Leviathan. Despite losing the Mina early, this is turning into a winnable fight for them.
Good hook out of Rayek here, catching on D-Mob. Throws the bomb back into his teammates here to explode onto multiple players. It seems like we might just see a full disengage. Leviathan actually the ones turning tail and running because look at this. Hoot going to be coming in from the side looking for a catch as well. Looks like Overseas just wants to go back to farming here and here Hoot onto Rayek. Good movement out of Rayek to be fair. They're not able to get the chase down onto him just yet.
Now they're turning onto the Billy with that pin from Together, but Billy is not a feasible kill, I think, at this phase. And so actually both teams are going to kind of walk away from that one. And it's a big win for Leviathan. I like that TP in from Overseas. We talk about Mirage's late game, but he's willing to show up early, and it makes the world of difference to get that urn dunk in and virtually equalize now on the Souls.
I didn't expect to see D-Mob so low on Souls in this game at 8K. He's almost the lowest on his team.
He's poor on Shiv. I do think like I think there's always a comeback potential for Shiv because, you know, in a game where you're very far behind, sure, maybe you grab the Spirit Spike, but you basically just go all greens and then you're just an execute bot. And I think that's kind of good enough. Although in this game, maybe it won't be, right? Because now that you're starting to ask the question, okay, who's dealing this damage? You've got two forms of execute on the comp, but that's not really worth much of anything if you're not actually getting people low in the first place, not actually able to set up those kills. And I feel like the game, although the soul advantage is towards Abrahams here, I think this is very much Leviathan's game in terms of which team I'd rather be at this moment. Pure state of the game, it's Leviathan. Hook deep onto Shiv. Oh, D-Mob in big trouble. Locked down to hell and back. Absolute war crimes committed onto Shiv, but let's be honest, Shiv deserves it.
I mean, you're not wrong, but damn, that sounds wrong. Gets hooked into a tornado, into a captivating read. So Dispel Magic might have some potential for him, at least when it comes to captivating read. The Walker's being pushed on the left-hand side, and Leviathan are trying to take the lead they have, or at least it feels like they have, and turn it into more. Freemont's got to be careful. He needs to back off. There was some pressure being applied out of Abrahams on the opposing side of the map, but it's just going to be Hoot and Task together. And I mean, Lash and Viper, it's a better love story than Twilight.
I see Mina.
It is powerful, right? It gives you a lot of that tempo in the early game. Speculative Iradomini here, ripped by Overseas, looking for some kills. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Hoot tanking every debuff in the world, but has the ulti to potentially turn this one. And so I think wisely, Leviathan are a little bit respectful. Like a Lash ulti is exactly the way you could set up a big team fight here. pin forward, take Silver out of the fight for now. But hey, Freemark's tanky, man. He is not scared of a little Abrams pin and punch combo. They got to back away from the rake, laser over the top. Saki ults down though. Maybe there's a re-engage for here for Hoop.
Got no way to get into the air though to look for a death slam. With that Guardian being alive, I think that's gonna be their focus here. And we'll take it and look to back away. I mean, if we talk about the economy, right, it's kind of even between the two teams, but I feel like where the money is a little bit different. I mean, Together's at 13K, Sonya's at 14K. On the other side, we got MG Teams at 13, Overseas at 12. So you have more damage dealers on Leviathan's side with a higher economy, but you also have a bigger front line, I feel like, out of Abraham's here with Together.
Oh, big knockdown. Who just tanking every debuff once again. He's just not able to play the game on Lash. Slowing Hex from the debuff as well. Perfect movement though, and maybe it's gonna be enough to get him away. It is not though. Overseas chases that one down. A 3 streak now for Leviathan's Mirage. Together, desperately looking for some counter kills, but chasing a Billy, and he's coming towards his team. The rallying charge turns that one around. Together sticks around though, still believing he can find this kill. Same with the sleep setup. Big knockdown from over the top, and now Mirage needs to get out of dodge and fast. Together looking for that hunt down. You need to find the Mirage kill right now, and this could be D-Mob's revenge. Sliding forward, perfect movement for now. Doesn't have that execute though, and maybe that Page heal is enough to get Overseas out of trouble. Seems like Page is going to die for it, but that is worth it every single time, getting the Overseas carry out of trouble and back into the farm.
I don't think it's over just yet though, because they can transition to the left-hand side of the map where there's gonna be 3 players from Leviathan. We see Overseas teleport on in, travels into the actually push this Walker down, but they might be.
He gets Taz, but they're getting surrounded. They need to get this Walker down desperately. Who dies 2 though, and hold on. The huge gank from behind, 3 players coming into this, but Mirage and Silver relatively strong here. I don't think this is necessarily a free cleanup fight. No execute available for Shiv, although hold on. Together's here. It's probably one of the strongest players on Abraham's right now. The trades keep coming. In the end, that turns into a really solid trade. All you get the Mirage is probably the biggest kill on the map, but on its own, it's not really enough to make up for a Walker and 2 kills that Leviathan find for themselves.
I've not seen the kill streak portrait of Abrams with the skin.
I like it. I saw the critical one earlier. It looked pretty cool.
I'm digging like the sunglasses. I think those are sunglasses.
He's giving me like a Ringo vibe, you know? He's like,
go on. He's like, what?
I mean, that's all I have. That's all I have. I was born in 1996.
Wait, you were born in 86?
96.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, damn, you're older than me. Okay, well, with the urn though in hands. So Leviathan, they got the turn last time with some great movement out of Fremont and position created Overseas. I think it might be a little bit more feasible this time. As we can see, Sonya gonna be on the right-hand side farming up jungle, and Hoop pushing the middle, looking for some Guardian pressure or Walker pressure.
Yeah, they're gonna have Walker problems on the other side of the map. Billy's just gonna wait this one out. Mirage and Mina are gonna start to pressure on the opposite side, and is Sonya gonna be able to hold this one alone? Wisely, he's got to keep this urn though deep on the Walker, and if it walks back, this actually could be a free urn. You really need to keep control of this area. Hoop finds flammable. So a little bit of undisciplined play here from Leviathan. You're able to do that without the lash hold is massive, and that looks like a free urn donation to me. They're gonna fight for it though. They're gonna take this one, not giving up anything just yet. Leviathan, are they gonna fight for this? Mirage is coming towards this fight, gonna bring that level of damage dealing, but Abraham's still looking healthy, starting the gank. Big lash hold, but it doesn't pull them around the corner.
Still trying to confirm on this one. The tornadoes coming through to catch on together, and a lot of focus being thrown in on towards him, but he's still extremely tanky at 15k souls. The fight's still breaking out across the map. You can see Saint there to help support this one, and Fremont might have just overcommitted, but at 14k for himself, he doesn't really seem to care here, Jake. He's continuing to push on in. Overseas there to help out now. And Leviathan, they have won the fight, albeit with 1 kill, but their urn was dropped in the midst of this, and will retreat back towards the spawn.
Okay, there's no way they do mid-boss, right? They're crazy for this one. They're thinking, hey, 1 kill, a couple players low, resetting, we're gonna go for it. But this looks like such a risky gamble to me, Jason, with the potential series on the line in this game, but maybe it's a bait. They've done enough to pull Taz in. Taz felt like he had to put some pressure down to slow this one, and he has accomplished that. D-Mob's gonna be coming back into this with execute, but the Rejuve's gonna be dropping sooner rather than later. Flammable has the rallying charge. Could bring a lot of power to this fight, but you also have Abrams. Wait, is there even going to be a contest? Abrams, they got players on the side lanes. I don't think they're coming into this one. It's going to be a clean triple Rejuve take for Leviathan. Beautiful read of the map, and now Mirage TPs to defend the wave in the mid. And this is a flawlessly executed mid take, keeping the macro state under control. Leviathan looking to win this game and force a game 3. They will lose a Walker, though.
Yeah, at least get something out of nothing here for Abrahams. And maybe Sonic can escape from this one too, as Saint might not be so lucky to be chased down by Amina.
A kill onto Sonya would be huge. He's got Iradomini popped on Sonya, but I think he's just getting ganked. He's putting out big damage though onto the Bebo. Wait. He's like, get this thing off of me, man. Oh my God. You gotta respect the max ult, but Sonya does go down, getting swarmed by any players, showing the potential though of the Venator, even in that challenging scenario.
Well, a big thank you to M01012026 with another 50-pound donation this time into the prize pool. And before that was Granicle with a $10 donation. We're up to $1,400 so far to be split between two regions. Not a bad payday here for these players. And Leviathan, I mean, maybe their first taste.
They want a piece of that, man.
Winning money in an event. I think this would be the first money they would have won if they can pull the series back.
After game one, you would have just said, like, you know, you would have bet the house, right? You really would have on Abraham's just crushing this, annihilating. Already, I think Leviathan showing in game two, they're here to play. They're not a pushover team. Maybe game one, an aberration. Abraham's getting a little cheeky with the Viper pick, you know, maybe feeling like this is our game to lose, and maybe it is your game to lose. A dunk comes in here for Bebop. The lead started to grow for Leviathan, still very much in control for Abraham's. Like, they can absolutely make a big comeback fight, especially around something like Hoot Slash. But it's not easy, and Leviathan are building towards some very dangerous late game. We can check out the Mirage build. I mean, when he starts getting these big debuff items on top of Ricochet, that's when this hero looks like one of the best late game carries.
Question is, how far away is he from that? And how much damage can Sonya do with like a 4K lead up against him? I think.
And 19K, he probably has like just Ricochet right now, I would assume, or maybe he's close Ricochet. Because you got to get your like default build items on so you can actually like play the game normally. And then you build towards Ricochet and all debuffs, but.
Counterspell in for Freemuck here. I mean, we saw this before up against Loki W. Go for the
really good this game. You counterspell the Lash ulti, you can counterspell the Abrams ulti, you can counterspell the Sleep from Ram, the Lash ult. It's like actually almost every character has something that's pretty reasonable to counterspell. I think we're going to see a ton of counterspells built in this one, especially for Leviathan. Maybe not so much on the other side. It's not quite as obvious. But I think this is definitely a god counterspell game for the Leviathan roster.
So Leviathan, with the reju that they got, they're going to pick up 2 earned turn-ins to really lengthen this lead. But I'm kind of surprised considering they're only, what, about 10K in the lead now? After getting rejuve, after getting 2 earns in a row. Well, I think they got every earn this game so far, so I think they're on earn 3.
I mean, even with a funky draft, you can tell how good Abraham's are. They are not giving up anything for free. This is like nothing, no kind of a blowout game, right? This is a small advantage that Leviathan have carefully built. But it's also something of a house of cards, right? In Deadlock, that can all come crashing down. One big team fight would flip this league completely on its head. So Leviathan, they have to be perfect here. They cannot make mistakes. D-Mob, though, could be one of those mistakes, getting potentially caught here in the side lane. This is pretty close, though, to the Abraham's base. Diving inside against the Shiv could be risky, but D-Mob maybe getting bursted down and inside the room. No chance to fight back. Billy being pressured on the other side of the map. There's a lot of counter pressure now going out onto the Viper. Rejuve comes out. Still 1 Rejuve left for Leviathan. Whoa, that Iradomini hits hard. You need to hit every single shot right here, though. 2 hit. Is he going to find the third? Is there going to be that execute with the life strike? Keeps him up. And so with all 3 shots hit, it's still not enough. Mirage TP's into this. Could be bailing out the Billy. Maybe it's not going to be quite enough. Uh-oh. Hold on. It's looking bad. Mirage goes down. And the gank goes wrong. Abrahams turns things around even as the Rejuves expire. Finds a couple of crucial kills on some of your core frontliners. They're looking for more.
As you were just saying, right? You can't count Abraham's out whatsoever. Tasking extremely
that's a little
deep.
He's like, wait, this Mina's 29K? My bad.
Just I'm going off inside the turn-in room. And a good charge together takes down Flammable, and this turnaround is happening. 3 kills already coming through so far for Abraham's. Now on the retreat is Freemuck going to be coming in from the backhand side. And Hooty's looking for the ground strike, but he doesn't have the cooldown up just yet. Empty Dreams falls with that 29K. He's down for over 60 seconds here, Jake. The downside to being so far ahead in the game.
Yeah, long respawn time. And I mean, Abraham's, you give him an inch, they're taking a mile right now. Hitting you from all sides, cleaning up a lot of farm on the map. Any lead you had on Leviathan is more or less evaporated from that team fight. I think you do have the comp advantage in the late game, but you know, it's just echoes of game 1 right now, replaying in your head, right? Of like what can happen when Abrahams get control of a game. And just means like you're not going to see that same level of confidence out of Leviathan that we saw from Abrahams in game 1. Like they're going to play a much more conservative style, and that could expose you to Abrahams really punishing some of those split players as we just saw in that last sequence.
I mean, Saint, he's had some really good sleep so far in this game. As you're talking about counterspell before, I wonder if anyone else in Leviathan has invested into something like that. And Tass also, I mean, I'm assuming he has by now maxed out Petrifying Bullets. That's something you have to do when it comes to a Viper. The control it gives you, you basically cannot mid-boss against a Viper if she's still alive and has ultimate.
Yeah, it's one of like those longest disables from AoE stun in the game. That's actually reasonable to hit in a spot like that. Oh, Billy is farming this wave. Could be in trouble. It's a gang squad coming up against him, but Bebop is behind him. And he dodges the first ground sign from Lash. I think that is going to be a back off here from Abrahams. They look in, they attempt something, but it doesn't go good. You don't want to fight past that wave. Ooh, Iradomini. Is it going to hit? They have that damage coming in. The lockdown from the Viper, but it's not quite enough to finish that kill into Empty Dreams. And now Venator finds himself in very, very deep against the Lycan. Silver immobilized for now, though, and maybe that's just enough space for Sonya to back out. But Iradomini long CD ultimate. Leviathan have a bit of a tempo advantage if they want to try and play out of the map right now.
Oh, this is a perfect time for a death plan too, considering you don't have Lycan Curse up and available, but the knockdown catches him out. Who's going to fall without really doing much of this one? Big. And a chain gang not going to pull him back in. He breaks the chain. He stays alive.
Beautiful connection there. Hoot gets around the corner, but it's not enough to get away. Rayek with the laser finds that cleanup. Artillery fire from long range. Saint has to just run for the hills now on this ramp. Trying to tag along. Here's the lockdown coming in from Page. Catching on to some of these straggler players from Abrahams, man. They're refusing to back down from this fight. Sharing pressure admirably as a team. And it's a thought about going towards the mid-boss here for Leviathan, but surely this is crazy, right? Surely they're going to bait the team fight out. It look like Raj coming back out. A catch being found. Already the kill onto Rayek. He was alone. Here comes the Bola. Sets up a huge pin down onto this Mirage. Going to get stunned forever. The counterspell keeps him alive, but doesn't have another counterspell for the snooze. And here comes the follow-up team fight. Abrahams looking, hunting for kills. 4-on-4 now. Leviathan not out of this fight just yet. Taz on just a sliver of HP has to full back. But with Dima finding that kill, it's effectively a 3-on-3 in the engagement. Billy needs this cleanup, and he needs it now.
Even if they lose this fight, I think they've been able to kill off enough if they can stop the rot here to delay or prevent any sort of mid-boss from being done. Demov comes in, slice and dice, does some damage, but he's still going to eventually pay the price. They still have Tass up. They still have Together and Who, though Together needs to go back to heal it before they can legitimately go for the contest here. But they really want to commit to this. It's a 3-on-3, and honestly, I don't know who I really favor in this. Yes, Empty Dreams has 32k, but you never know what Abrahams can do here. And oh my god, the ground strike catches out onto my Empty Dreams.
You got to get out of this one. Viper behind, though, could be going down. Very squishy hero with a lot of damage. Lash trying to do what he can to bring some of that counter pressure in. But Hoot just has to run. He's out of gas. He's got nothing left in the tank. Still going to look to contest this one. No, I mean, one big ground strike could be enough. And here comes a pin. Together's healthy. He's doing it alone. He's standing tall on the Abrams, but disabled now by the Mirage, taking off a lot of his damage. Counterspell used. He's desperate now, running away, trying to just slip out of this one. But Rayek gets his revenge back off the spawn on the Bebop. And Abrahams, finally, the knockdown dragout seems to come to a close. Hoot barely has any HP left. Surely this one is too hard to contest, as the Reju claim for Leviathan would cement their position in this game.
Yeah, no one's going for the contest anymore. You can see Hoot was back at base. So Leviathan, once again, they take themselves their second rejuve of the game and earn to be taken on top of this. Looking to lengthen that lead, but that lead really hasn't grown though, even with these two rejuves and every single earn so far in this game. Abrahams have been consistently keeping things close. You can look back to that last fight as well, being down a player. They were still able to turn things around and this equalized things a bit. But MTG at 34k, Jake, is going to become a, I mean, it's already a problem, but 34k is becoming even that much more of a problem that Sinus Sniper almost has to hit like a pin to get a confirmed kill onto him.
And the problem with the carry Venator here is that you just can't do it alone, right? Like, it's the nature of your ult. It's very powerful, but you're not like crushing the team fight with it the way Mirage with Ricochet can deal with an infinite number of opponents, right? As long as he's still shooting, he is going to be winning that team fight. And we also saw Billy and Silver offering sort of that similar staying power deep into the team fight. Together did a lot, but even he can't stand tall against Billy and Silver together. And Dimov honestly just doesn't really seem to have the souls to be able to play in the typical dominant style that we expect out of him in this game.
A little bit of a pause coming through. Okay, well, that was a very quick pause. I was going to say, let's take a look at the items, but it seems like both teams are ready to go. And we're back into the game here.
I like this double armor from Taz. He's recognizing he just needs this to be able to play the game and to be able to kind of mix it up and keep these spell casting going. And, oh, looks like a disconnect from Demoff, so we'll have to pause for that one for sure.
And Tass. I mean, Tass also
Take a look at these items.
Ability beyond the items with the tier 3 Slither in the extra shield whenever you
4
slide.
counter spells so far, by the way, for Leviathan. So a lot of these powerful ultis may not be as reliable as they seem.
Yeah, I don't know. Where does Hoot find value then? I
this
feel like
is a hard lash game.
There's almost value in him using his ultimate to bait the counter spells so Tass can hit a massive petrifying bola.
I do think Hoot either needs a dispel magic or a counter spell. He needs something for the knockdown because he's getting focused every single fight by the knockdown from Paige, and it's meaning that like it's prevented a lot of these ults. Like he goes for the ulti, but if Flammable has the knockdown casted on him, it's like canceling his ulti. He's not getting any value out of it. He's finding himself in an awkward spot and getting chain locked down. I feel like Flammable is having kind of huge impact in these team fights. And I don't think we've even seen the true power peak for Mirage in particular, right? He's got the Ricochet online now and the Toxic, so he has some strong debuffs, obviously, as well as the native debuffs in his kit. But it's the inhibitor and the silencer where, look, you already have big damage problems in Abraham's comp. When you get inhibited, it's looking very grim unless you're just somehow first catching Mirage and bursting him. But with Paige behind, with this level of play, I don't think that's happening. And speaking of getting caught first, worst case scenario there, Saint going down without really any kind of a fight back into that one.
Who just looking to escape. There's a knockdown once again.
Getting under the ground is a big deal, though, when that knockdown's on you. Reduces the stun duration, so he's able to play his way out after that one. But, hey, 1 kill, 3 rejuves. You're going to go for more here. They don't want to yield the mid lane position, knowing that their walker's relatively low. But when you're able to come behind the walker like this, you know the game's in a powerful state here. Counterspell used by Abrams. Lash ulti over the top, trying to trade things back. Finds a nice one, but the walker is already stopped, so it's just going to be the Lash's follow-up. The rallying charge from Flammable keeps people healthy. And Hoot, not much to show for from that one. Has to just back out with his tail between his legs. And the hook, no, not onto Sonya's sniper. That's a huge element of your damage on this defense from Abrahams. And it's an ill-fated Walker defense to potentially open the game for Leviathan. Looking to force a game 3 after what was a brutal beatdown by Abrahams. It's their turn now to give. Wait,
When you see the confidence of
No, he's not crazy. He's not crazy. He's not going for the silver.
I think you're seeing the confidence on Abrahams to force a fight there, knowing they're up against 3 rejuves under their own walker. I mean, I guess it's not a horrible place to fight him, but they didn't have everyone there either. And they were still trying to go for the contested, letting that one go for free. And eventually, the Leviathan will get another one for free, getting all 3 flex slots. Where in the last game, man, they had none. But obviously, with the domination that happened, not too surprising. But they're knocking on the front door here of this base, Jake, and they're looking to take down these shrines. Well, maybe not so yet. But you can know that any sort of fight that breaks out here would be the shrines if Leviathan wins the fight.
I mean, maybe game 1, a bit of nerves, a bit of inconsistency, maybe not the best draft for Leviathan. Game 2 is, I wouldn't say a 180 because it's not quite as good back the other way, but this is looking like their game to lose right now. It's not over just yet, though. Abrahams still have the base defense to go for. It's been a long time since we've seen somebody siege the Abrahams base. I don't know that we've seen it in the new base that is so much more powerful on the defense. But this is a Ricochet inhib Mirage who is just on the cusp of adding a silencer or a leech to that mix and really hitting the true power spike for this character. A gun buff, sure, why not?
He didn't need that or anything. Another urn.
8,200 souls. Is the Rejuve going to run out for this one, though? I think this is a fight that Abrahams are going to have to take, and it might be one they actually are kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, it's gone in 15 seconds.
Yeah, this Rejuve's going to be out when you dunk the urn, if you go for this. But Abrahams are also pressuring very heavily into the left lane right now. They're really hoping to catch this Mina, but it's probably worst case scenario that it's the Mina that they're looking for. Probably the hardest kill to find on the map.
They're going for the Walker instead.
They're going for the Walker. This is interesting. Bebop and Mirage are actually looking to defend, but surely not as just 2 players, right?
I mean, you give him the urn, but if you get these kills and a Walker, you're going to be feasting for Abrahams, and the fight is going to be breaking out. The catch comes in onto Mina. The curse being used as well. Empty Dreams is out of the fight for 87 seconds. And with the 5-man squad up against 4.
That's your most farm character down. 80 seconds on the deck. No rejuves to speak of. You need to be very careful right now, Leviathan. Do you want to defend this walk? You're going to think very carefully about that one. Silver, I think just backing up for now. I think they just need to run. Do not take another fight here. Bebop Blazer zoning people away. I actually like this. Just deny the fight. You don't want this, although hold on. The rallying charge from Flammable does catch Tass, and even with the double armor, it's not enough. Now Leviathan thinking, hey, 5-on-5, we can take this one.
Well, the sleep coming through, though. I'm not sure if I caught on. Actually, I caught on to Fremont, and he's going to fall, and he's dead for 90 seconds. So it's back to a 5-on-4. With Midwalker being attacked by minions, Counterspell comes through to take away this ground slam, and it actually still connects on a 2 either way. The rallying charge comes out once again with the refresher, and who's trying to do something in this backline, keeping Overseas out of this fight. But Overseas, like you said, he's going to be cooking away with the ricochet, with the inhibitor, with toxic bullets. He's getting the damage done together. Is going to fall, and they cannot close this gap. They cannot close the damage they need onto him to kill Overseas. So Dimov is sure hell going to try.
Wait, they're killing everyone else, and hold on, an execute could be good. Big damage, ground slam after ground slam.
Oh my god.
And eventually the execute comes in. So who putting in work there, keeping that pressure on the Mirage, and eventually Dimov able to survive through that pressure, get the counter kills. Mid-boss is spawning in just a few seconds too. This actually could be a comeback for Abrahams. They could be right back into this game if they're able to secure those rejuves.
Worst case scenario for
Dimav's fighting this.
Leviathan.
He's fighting this alone.
I mean, he's gonna die alone.
Maybe, but Mina's back too. There's a lot of damage to be brought to bear here. Dimov silenced. Caught in an awkward spot. Needs to play his way out of this.
Safe back though, he has curse.
Yeah, just to get onto this. Billy needs to find more damage. They need to find these kind of counter kills here. But inside the small room, Mina just cannot be effective in this spot. Empty Dreams couldn't get the finish on that ultimate, and now that late death onto Billy could be costing the game. Abrahams, this game looked over for them at so many moments, and yet the resilience to stick into it and to find their way back in. If they get these triple reaches, which it feels like a foregone conclusion, this is their game to lose now.
You can't contest this. Like, Saint has curse. If Empty Dreams goes in, he's gonna die.
Yeah, there's no point going for it. You just got to clear waves, get the macro back into a respectable position. Silver's thinking about it, but this is suicide to go for. There's no way this should ever work. And I will say, it's still not over for Leviathan. Like, I honestly think the game is a little favored for Abrahams now, but the comp is so much better for Leviathan in the late game. I think they're scaling better. But losing that last team fight was a worst case scenario, right? Abrahams show how to stick into a very difficult game into the late game and just through a very clean team fight, find their way back in. Who picks up a ton of damage, by the way, on the kit. Actually, monster spirit damage from this lash. This lash is a huge threat. Like, the lash is kind of going to be carrying now.
Spirit burn and boundless. That's a lot of damage. And if you're squishy, which, I mean, Mina's going to be, Mirage will be to some extent. And there's really not too much green investment, I would say, for Overseas, or at least when it comes to spirit resist. Does he have any spirit resist? I don't think he has any.
This is a little scary now. Overseas has silencer though. I think that actually makes Lash's life a lot harder. Reduces a lot of his outgoing spirit damage. Here comes this fight. Together's thinking he can take that fight into silver, but yeah, I don't know about that one. Fremont also quite farmed here on the silver. Definitely a problem character has the Vamp Burst, the bullet armor himself, so very tanky with pretty crazy amount of damage for silver. There's a lot of threats from this Leviathan roster. But against the Rejuve, Ray came into that one, tried to help out, and just found himself into a team fight that his team was not ready to follow up on.
Honestly, I don't imagine Abrahams is going to go for the base whatsoever right now. I think they need a lot of farm. They're still going to be sticking on this left-hand side. The urn is up, and the urn is kind of a godsend for them considering they haven't had one this entire game. I can see that Fremont's heading over to actually secure it probably after the survival buff.
Ooh, can Fremont pick it up? I think he can get out of there and pick it up. Sieging into Mirage incredibly hard. Mirage, though, needs to be very careful. If Mirage gets caught, this could be the game. They're going all in for him. The Lash ult as well, soloing and pulling him far out of the base. No Tornado left. And without the Mirage, this defense looks impossible. Oh, no. Abrahams, they do it again. Taz, with that Bola, freezes Mirage in a compromised position. The Lash ult to follow up. And there's just nothing in the world that can keep him alive. Now it's Abrahams. Triple Rejuve looking to siege this base. The game looks so hard. And yet Abrahams, maybe the only team in the world that could have brought this back into a base siege against Leviathan. They've got to find their way through these triple Rejuves. But without Bebop, without Mirage, it's going to be so awkward to make this defense.
I see the minions shoving the mid lane with the help of Saint here with the little helpers. Dimov, he's been punished this entire game. He's been on low eco. He's been quite homeless, but he's all in the front line trying to take the base away from Leviathan and make that his new home. The chain gang comes through, carries on to quite a few. They still have 2 Rejuves left though, so not too worried about this fight. Don't want to throw it away where they can close out a kill as Empty Dreams forced to just bat away back in towards his cave. and they're gonna get both shrines. And I still feel like they can get a phase 1 Patreon, but they're still low on HP. TAS, Demov together, all about
It's looking scary. I don't think it's good. I think this is actually a beautiful defense from Leviathan. They put a lot of damage down on some of those Abraham's players. They went back to their base, they got the full reset, and now they're fighting with a huge HP lead. So you might be down Regis, you might be down players, but there's a lot of HP on the map. That being said, Silver doesn't have her ultimate, and so trying to get this Shiv kill is exactly what you need, but you just can't quite close the deal. The movement buff maybe making the world of difference there. A bola shot as well, and that sets up for another pin from Together. Mirage TPs, Brother Tornado's back into the base. The hook's coming in. Leviathan desperately trying to make this defense. It's up to Overseas now. He's got to hold pretty much alone. And Demov still finding more executes. The last ulti sends people out of the base, and it's only Overseas now, the turret against the world, but surely not in a 6v1. And with these long spawn timers, they will not be up for this defense. It's a 1v6 for the game. Abrahams, somehow they've snatched this one back.
Overseas, if he somehow pulls this off, it'd be the greatest comeback, the greatest last stand in the world. Yeah, there's no chance. Abrahams on the brink of defeat here in map 2. Do pull it back, like you said, Jake. Once again, defend their title here in the Deadlock Night Shift for the umpteenth. I don't know how many weeks in a row it is. They showed they can bleed a little bit in this game, but honestly, when it came time to turn tail and fight, they pulled it off. And that's just the Abrahams we know. You might be winning against them, but you haven't won the game until that patron falls.
Man, they are so good. They have like the worst late game draft. They're falling behind. It's not just the offense, right? They're more than the team that can snowball a lead and aggress and win. They can play from those deficits. And people talk about Deadlock, oh, we should have a forfeit button, man. You're too far behind. You can't come back. Like, Abrahams puts on a masterclass, man. Finding those opportunities when they look like they can't be found, look like there's nothing you can do. Abrahams, they do it again, able to pull this one back from the absolute brink, right? From their own base siege to being able to get the win on, I think, an inferior late game comp, outplaying the Mirage in the late game. Only the Abrahams can do this, man. They are built different right now in DLNS.
That was unbelievable. What a spectacular recovery. I thought to myself, the asthmatic child has suddenly become the lion tamer, just being able to taunt Abrahams and how they were going to be able to play things out. But no, not the case here, Jason. Abrahams looks absolutely unstoppable. What a recovery. What a recovery. Oh.
That's what makes them one of the best teams in the world, man. Again, they were down, what, 30, 40K. They lost 2 Rejus. They lost like 5 urns. And yet they still held on long enough and found those kills they needed to get themselves back in the game. And the thing is, like, when you're Leviathan in that situation, you lose like 1, 2 players, you need to like amputate the arm. Because you can't keep running into these fights thinking you have an advantage and then losing more players and eventually losing your base in the game. I think they did such a great job to start things off strong for Leviathan. Overseas got fed, M2 Dreams got extremely fed. But when it came down to like the team fighting, the macro play around it, I think the little intricacies of Abrahams being together for so much longer is just one of the reasons that netted them this win.
Yeah, and as soon as that kind of snowball effect started happening there towards the mid to late game there, Jake, it really did feel like Leviathan didn't have an answer for it, almost kind of fumbling, and not necessarily fumbling, but just kind of giving up to the pressure that Abrahams was able to put on, and they just could not get any footing whatsoever in that last 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think they just felt like they should win this game. They're far enough ahead, and Abrahams are just so good at laying those little traps for you. Yeah, you might have the advantage. Yeah, you might be stronger, but they're creating those little number advantage moments. And Leviathan, you get a little bit greedy. You think, oh, that we can get that kill, and you don't realize Abrahams are baiting you for that. They want to pull you in deep. They want to find that big comeback fight. And they're willing to give up a lot of resources to get there too. Like, they're willing to take a lot of chances, a lot of little poking and prodding in those team fights to find the one that really does pay off and really delivers the win. Sonya, insane carry performance this game, and in a hard game. I mean, this was anything but easy here for the Venator.
Joshua for the tip, the $25, put it right. Abrams doing Abrahams things, unreal here. And you're right, with Sanya Sniper taking the 11 kills, 54,000 player damage in a game like this, when you've got a lot of pressure going up against you there, Jason. I mean, looking at how much even map control sometimes Leviathan was able to have there, and the kind of team fight that they were going to be able to put on, it looked really dire for Abrahams in some of this game.
It did, and I think it kind of also hits back to something Jake talked about. Like, Sanya Sniper, even though it had 54k damage, I mean, okay, hold on. First of all, that's a lot of damage. I didn't expect him to have that much. I had to double check really quickly.
That's huge.
But it didn't feel like he was the one carrying the fights. It felt like the workings between like Together, Demov, and Who, obviously with some support from TAS and Saint, that really like extended the fights, but also opened up opportunities with the charge that Together was hitting, the ground strikes that Hoot was hitting just to kind of distract and get in and out so they couldn't confirm kills to buy time for them to take down the front line of Leviathan. I feel like that's where really my focus was.
Yeah,
I think this is an Abrams statement game. I mean, to be 6-2 and 13, like, yeah, they won this game, but this game was really, really hard, right? Like, there was a lot of tough team fights, a lot of deaths. Together has the stat line of like a dominant, crushing victory on Abrams right now. And I mean, there's a reason this character has not made it through the draft in quite some time. Together, really styling, and I think a key element to what makes this comeback possible, right? Yeah, he's not going to have the craziest damage, but his pins, his setups that are finding these catches, finding those opportunities are massive. Give similar credit to somebody like Taz. 5-5 and 13, not bad for Viper in this game. Like, that is solid. He's in more or less every fight, and he's finding in those key moments, like that bola on Mirage probably seals the deal to finish the game. The one that sets up Hoot for an easy death slam, killing off the Mirage, who's one of the best defensive characters in the entire game.
Yeah, a bit more of a hybrid build as well, so you've got to be very technical about how you're going to be taking those engagements, especially with the rest of your team moving forwards against it. I think, Jason, though, if Leviathan's going to take anything away from this one, yes, Abrams gets the victory, but Leviathan showed how much they can push Abrahams to the brink in this game. This has been, I will say that this game too has been one of my favorite games in a little while here for EU, looking at how Leviathan was almost able to take it away from them, but just not at the very end.
I think it goes back to what I mentioned in the draft, that it feels like it doesn't matter what comp Abrahams is on. Their macro play and their team fighting is on an entirely different level. You can outpick them in the draft. I think they definitely got outpicked in the draft looking at Leviathan's comp. But when it came down to winning the game for Leviathan, they just couldn't overpower Abrahams like in their like a arm wrestle hold, trying to like get the hand over the top. They just couldn't do it. And you can see in that graph as well in the souls, maybe we can pop that up just really quickly, just for a second, just to go back to the match stats. You look at the very end of it, it's so much blue. It's all Leviathan's net worth. And then just at the very end, they came back and that snowball, that sudden, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. The zoom in for
it's
extra
a 40,000 soul lead, man. They're down 40K.
Soul lead.
Enhance.
Yeah, like
Enhance further? Is that possible?
I don't know. Maybe.
What do you see, man?
We zoom in. There's numbers there. It's all crazy. Yeah.
Get out your protractor. You need to calculate. We must go deeper.
The turn comes at the walker. Oh my God, we can go even further.
Sorry, the patrons get pixelated.
It's like Quantumania. But the walker take on the Amber side, you see there, like that was the turning point. Like the fight that broke after that, they ended up getting two Guardians. Oh my God, now I can't even tell.
Yeah, this is great. This is really, this is the cutting analysis we're looking for.
But yeah, you're totally right, Jason. As soon as that Walker change comes along here, brilliant stuff here by Abrahams, and then obviously able to secure mid boss. Mid boss, 3 rejuves. How are you supposed to deal with that, Jake? Especially with Demov on the ship, absolutely popping off in these final fights. So once his ults get reset, it's what are you supposed to do?
It was a tough game for Demov, right? He was struggling, taking a lot of hits in the early game, and he kind of brought it back in the late game and was able to just stay alive long enough into those fights to follow up on a lot of that damage, get those Healbane heals off of his executes, and it looked like he was out of the fight. It looked like, oh, Mirage is really starting to turn the tide here, and yet Demov just finds execute after execute and kind of claws his way back in. Also Hoot on the Lash, big contributor, building that heavy, realizing the team needs more damage. Like, we're having damage problems, and as Lash, you could build a little bit more utility. You could build for more of that, like you could build the unstop to guarantee your ult. You could build for better team fighting, but he builds to be a little bit more impactful in the pure damage role, and it looks very good in this game, especially when kind of knockdown makes your life so hard to get those big ults.
Oh yeah, and in some of those moments, I felt like, having little helpers at just the right time to just apply that little extra bit of defense when you're a Lash and you're going into the thick of it effectively here, Jason. So to be able to make something happen there, there's a lot of flashy players across the board here for Abrahams, and they make it look, well, I was about to say they make it look easy. This one didn't look easy, but they persevered.
I want to know who was the star of the game, because I think we were all talking about it, of who the MVP is.
It's a tough one to call.
We all had different names in there, and I don't think we even know who the actual MVP is.
We got to see.
Production's going to tell us who it's going to be.
Drum roll.
Together, let's go, baby.
Okay.
I see how his
kind of makes sense.
I think together, actually, I mean, so game 1, I almost think it's a wash because game 1 is such a complete obliteration by Abrahams. You can't even really point to like one player having the most impact because they're just annihilating, right? But game 2 is where the rubber meets the road. This is where, you're like, oh, we are so confident. We just had a huge win, and now we're really struggling. Now we're being put to the test. I think it was Together who really stood tall and kept held this game together, right? He kept things, from going really out of control, found them their way back into some of these crucial team fights. Game 1, of course, put some major style points here on the Billy, but game 2, I think to have a 6-2 stat line, 6-2-15 in a game that was as hard as that is something that I don't know that there's many other players in the world who could have done.
Jason?
When he said holding the game together, just in my head was seeing Captain America holding onto the helicopter in the building at the same time.
Literally. Somebody photoshopped Together as Abrams doing that.
But the thing is, I think that's what's kind of cool about the journey of Together over the course of his history, because he was a flashy player originally. He was like a Yamato player. He went into Shiv, but he's always had Abrams and Billy in his back pocket, and he shows he doesn't necessarily need to be the flashy player. He can be the cement of your team to hold things together for you to finish out a match. And you see here, great charge into a great seismic impact. He opens up a lot of these kills and still puts down a decent amount of damage. I think more importantly for Sonya, no one touches Sonya Sniper in these games, man, because you have Loop for protection, you have D-Mob, you have the entire team protecting him, that he's allowed to do 54k damage, and Together's a part of that team that allows him to do stuff like that.
I think you totally hit the nail on the head. I think he's great at being a problem, right, and allowing the rest of his team to be able to kind of mold around that. And I think you really hit the nail on the head there, Jason. It's terrifying to see Abrahams be able to. What? You don't want me to be? All right.
He's never nice to me like this. What's happening?
Unbelievably wrong, Jason. Terrible
is there
take.
A clip segment coming up of me making fails again on my streamers.
Speaking of which, it's time for the top 3 Jason Kaplan
fails of the week.
No, have you even streamed this week? I don't even realize.
I've been busy. I've been busy.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, guys, that was unreal. Jake, that was what a play here by Abrahams. I don't know what else is left to do because it's my first time here. What am I supposed to do?
We ended off. We take a look at the bracket one more time to get you guys all hyped and ready to go with what's coming up in North America. We still have three more teams ready to show you what they got. Melee Creeps have been undefeated for such a long time, though they did drop a map last week up against Floormen. Will it happen yet again? Well, it's time to tell us. As honestly, Floormen have been on a tear here, Jake, lately. They have really been putting the pressure to Bunny with Clock, and I feel like Goober's really been a good addition to the team. Of course, Rocker filling that support role now.
Yeah, I think, Floormen getting exciting. NA is really, for a long time it was EU, the more competitive region in the Buff Enjoyers v. Abrahams days. And now I think it's really NA that's taking that crown. All 4 of the top teams, I think, are going to be really exciting. Hydra Nation even rebuilding in the wings. So NA is shaping up to be a fantastic region. Catch all that action after this. I'm curious to see Melee Creeps go for another defense of that title, because I think Floormen are gunning for a return to form. A lot of players on that Floormen squad have been at the top, have won night shifts, and prize pools getting up to all-time highs these days with all the community support we've been getting. This is an exciting time to be a team on the come up, and NA going to be probably the most competitive region we have here on the night shift.
Good stuff. It's got its own different flair, its own different flavor, that's for sure as well. Carbon Green also giving us the $25 tip as well. Amazing to see the earn read counter rotation from Abraham's definition of defeat in detail here. So thank you very much to that. Continue to donate as well here to the night shift, because all of the money will go to the prize pool for these teams, and we're going to rack it up. We've got so many viewers out there. You could make these players super rich if you all contribute as time goes on. That is it for me. Thank you very much, Jason and Jake, for having me here for the first time here on the Deadlock Night Shift. It's been a pleasure
to have you, Claris. You're an absolute treat. So thank you for joining us here on the show. I think for all of us, we'll be signing off. We got a different crew to take the NA show, but this was a solid one, Jason. Always a pleasure.
I hated it. Never come back again. Let's get out of here. Send us to break.
No, we gotta fight off screen.
This is what he does to me. That's ridiculous. All right. Well, thank you very much. It's time for a break. When we return here for the night shift, it is going to be the North America portion. We have got the whole new talent roster reversed. Let's get it going. We'll see you after this.